Hey guys, how's it going? Eric, Sports Pop Talk. It is Sunday. Here we go on the August 23rd. We have a great show for you guys today. So hope everybody enjoys. If you're catching this on the rewind or if you're here live, like I said, we have an awesome show for you guys. So stay tuned. Get up on that couch, grab a cold one, kick back and relax because we're about to get started right now. All right, so hey, hope everybody's doing well. Eric, your host. We have a great show today. We have a panel of guests, and we are going to bring those guys on very shortly. But real quick, just want to go ahead and say hello, Super Fred Boy. How are you today? How are things? So let me go ahead and just bring on, you know, our panel. Generally, what I do is we have an assortment of panel each week. You never know which way it's going to go. But the gentleman that always comes and helps out very strongly, I rely on him quite a bit. Even though he can be unuseful, he's very useful. So let me go ahead and bring in Tori. And hey, Tori, how are you, bud?
Good. I guess
Good.
how catch my interview on JB's show explaining what unuseful means, but okay.
I caught the tail end of it a little bit. The hard part is because of JB's new time slot.
Right.
I just kind of blank out because usually I would send a few things in for Instagram and stuff like that. So my game plan is this week to kind of get back in that fold. But
I noticed at first, like, he didn't really have a start time. So that was kind of confusing too.
Yeah.
So, because it's easier on the West Coast, on the East Coast, because, he starts at like 10 a.m. So,
yeah, it's I mean, like I said, you just have to make an adjustment, get used to it.
yeah.
I just haven't been able to do that yet, so I'm hoping to do that this week. It seems like this week kind of flew by. There's obviously a lot going on in the world of sports, but just in general, it just seemed like the week kind of flew by for me. So, did you have a pretty good weekend?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you?
I was driving yesterday, so
Oh,
didn't really do much.
okay.
I picked up. I had some pre-orders that I had to pick up today. I ended up checking out Target, and I did not find any baseball or basketball cards because those fly off the shelves. But I did find young top series 2 hockey, I think. Yeah, the tin. They
Okay.
had a tin there that I picked up.
Okay. And so did you want to show a couple of cards off or?
Yeah, I'll show off. I mean, you can bring everyone else on.
Okay.
Did you forget
We'll just go ahead and say hello to some of the chat right there. So Weapon X has popped in, so we just want to say hello to Weapon X. How are you? Let me go ahead and bring on. Now, we all know him as the Batman. He has a love for Batman, but he also has a love for sports. and very passionate about his Reds. He's passionate about his town in general. So, like I said, it's always a pleasure to have him on the show. So we're going to bring on Batman. Pop. Let me make sure. Hey, Batman. How are you, bud? How's
On mute.
What's up, guys?
There you go. Hey, how are you, bud? Hope all is well with you. How's the weekend going? Staying busy?
Oh yeah, work's always keeping us busy, and it's we had the kitchen floor redone and the with tile instead of aluminum or linoleum, and that just made a house full of dust, and it was dirty as crap. But I know I've been talking about coming on here for a couple of weekends now, and
yes, and that's and that's the beauty of it. We have a panel. You never know each week, who we're going to get on. Last week, like I said, it started out with me and Tori. It climbed higher. The show went a little bit longer, and that's the beauty of it is because it is sports. There's so much going on right now with basketball and baseball, and football's around the corner. You got the hockey playoffs. So pretty much, I mean, if this was in a normal type year, this would be a good spot, for some people in regards. And obviously, you have a downside, but it's still the game. It's still athletes. It's still the same athletes playing and going from there. So that's what I do enjoy about sports in general is what it brings for me. Like growing up, just having that throwing the ball in the backyard, like being able to do that with my boys, coaching, throwing the football, just things like that. Now you growing up, where are you exactly from?
Originally, I'm from Ohio, from a small town called Wilmington, which is about an hour north of Cincinnati.
Okay.
So that's where I was born and raised, and then I went to high school in Indiana. That's where I played basketball for Hamlin Southeastern High School. That's in a town called Fishers, Indiana.
Uh-huh.
And then I moved from Indiana to Alabama, which is where my job is. And we did a lot of back and forth moving around just because of my dad's work. He got promoted he used to work for a carpet company, then went and ran his own store through that carpet company, and that was in Indiana, and then it kind of all came together.
Okay. What is like your go-to sport? I mean, I know, you have a good interest with baseball and things like that. But I mean, what did you growing up, I mean, did you go out in the backyard and play a lot of all of it, or, how did that go?
I think it was more baseball, football, and basketball oriented. I just started getting into hockey around when in 08, 09, kind of just showing some interest in there. And I mean, if I had to choose sports right now, it would be hockey and baseball. Football is like a very, very close second because every Sunday, I mean, it's Sunday Fun Day, and if anybody knows NFL Red Zone, and they have what is that guy's name? I can't even remember. Scott something. He just makes it that much entertaining when you're watching every Sunday too. So it's all about basically the entertainment value that we get out of it watching sports, whatever it may be.
Yeah, that's the beauty of sports in general. Some people, they love it. Some people don't. For me, I've never been the one to not have sports in my life. In high school, I wrestled, I played baseball, a little bit of football. My son has taken an interest in basketball, so every day at school we play, on the schoolyard, and have some fun. Sometimes I get the last shot in. So just having those memories, means a lot. And I think sports has been that glue. um, you know, Whether, you have family members in your life, brothers, things, dads, moms, there's even moms that go out there and they can play,
Yeah.
some moms have been softball, players, and they can throw the ball around. Soccer, things like that. My youngest one played soccer quite a bit. So sports is very, very important. It's something that I always push on my boys, because then at least I know where they are. You know what I mean?
Yep.
They're not just out playing in an alleyway somewhere. I know that I'm taking them to practice. I know they're going to be at games. And it just kind of creates that mold. I believe with sports, it kind of provides, a role.
Well, and it builds character, and it makes you. There's things in sports that you learn that you're going to need as an adult. That, I mean, even camaraderie. Even, I mean, that's something that just competitiveness to playing another team. I mean, you're going to use that down the road at some point in time, and sometimes that's the driving force in a lot of situations in life.
It is.
I mean,
and you use sports in your everyday life. You can use it. Whether it was team bonding, winning and losing. There's a lot of things that you can pull from sports.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go ahead and bring on one of our other panel members. He is the man that we know, that I always like to joke around with him and say that he's always talking loud and saying nothing, but love him like a brother. Let me go ahead and bring him on right now, Mr. Willie Poppin. And Mr. Wilby Poppin, how are you?
What's going on, guys?
Nothing much. How's everything?
Good. I've been doing some yard work. I cut down a tree and trimmed back a bunch of branches yesterday, and I'm just kind of delimbing them so I can get them transported and dumped later on. So, but I didn't want to miss the show. So,
well, we like I said, we have a good show today with there's a lot going on in the world of sports. You got some hockey, you got some baseball, you got basketball, football's around the corner, so there's a lot that's going on with sports, and that's what kind of brings us all together. We have a passion for it. We were just talking with Batman here, how growing up, with sports as a kid, the memories and just being able to, how it has shaped and molded us.
yeah.
So growing up, what was your kind of, did you just play baseball? What kind of sports did you play growing up? Did you have like a go-to favorite, or were you always on the go with practices? How was that?
Yeah, it was mostly baseball from when I was a little kid. I played in all the different levels. I also played indoor hockey when I was like a younger kid, because it was just like it was a smaller group. I was in a rollerblade hockey league for like a little bit when I was younger too. Basketball, football, I always played until I couldn't play football anymore. I was told not to for medical reasons wise, because of my hips and stuff. So I pretty much, after that, it was just baseball. And yeah, that's about it. And then always, like here in Boston and stuff, we, when we didn't play sports, we always went down to an empty parking lot and play stickball with the broken piece of like the hockey stick, and we used that in a tennis ball, and that's what we did
Now,
lot of times.
were you one of those kids that kind of was a sore loser at times? Like if maybe you guys lost a close game or something, that you would throw the stick or be like go off just cussing up a storm.
No, I am a true professional.
Oh,
All right. Now, you guys, as a chat, you can believe that or not. I mean, I'm not sure. We all know and love Will, but
50-50, maybe.
I think Will was an enforcer.
He was an enforcer.
Yeah,
so-
I might have taken care of some other people. So yeah.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and we have, like I said, we have some guests that we are bringing on today to talk about some sports. Obviously, one of our main themes today is going to be hockey. We will touch a little bit on baseball and football, but we are going to mostly go into a little bit of hockey. So the next gentleman that I have coming up, he is from the desert. He's somebody everybody in the community loves a great deal. We never know when he has any pops because he never opens any pops. But I have Mr. Dead Zone Citizen is going to be coming on. And let me just go ahead and pull this up real quick. I'm going to share the screen. This is something I enjoyed, and he's obviously going to have to do another one at some point. Let me see if I can share this.
That's right here.
Quite a journey.
yeah.
I just want to know why he put the big packets on top of the other one when they had a huge space next to it.
I just want to know why his videos are like opening boxes for him. They never happen.
And the lovable, talented Mr. Dead Zone. Christian, how are you, bud?
What's going on, boys?
Obviously, we love that video. Very talented. I think that Will does have a question in regards to that video.
Listen, you put the first package in, you put the bigger one on top of that, and then you put the little white envelope thing off to the side, then close the trunk. Come on, what are you doing? You gotta know how to pack that trunk. You gotta put the big box in the open space so it don't slide.
When I opened the trunk, they were in the same spot, right?
Yeah.
I drive carefully.
How long of a drive was that, Dead Zone? Like from you to the UPS store, it seemed like it took forever.
It takes me about 35 minutes to get to the UPS store.
Wow.
Did you film the whole thing? There and back, basically?
Yeah. I filmed some of it, like the opening the trunk. I did that after, I came home, I drove home, and then I filmed it. Obviously, I put the camera in the trunk and then opened it. at the UPS store, did that there in the parking lot. People were probably looking at me like going, "What the is this guy doing?"
I like to watch the people that I put in the trunk from time to time. So I got a camera back there.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun to do for sure.
Yeah, that was a great little video, man. I love that thing.
All
Yeah,
right,
it was
so
really fun to do. So, and it made me do a video of opening the box. So, yeah.
So I definitely, like I said, I appreciate you being on here today, Dead Zone. I know being in the desert, you know, I know that you're also a big hockey fan. Last week you kind of mentioned that in the chat, you know, hey, what about hockey? You know, so definitely we got a little bit of hockey today. But we also have another panel member that we're going to bring on. You know, everybody loves him. He recently had a birthday, and so he's always got something to say, of course. But let me go ahead and pull him up. Let's see here. Hold on one second. Let's see. There he is. And Mr. Matthew Callie. How you doing, Matthew? Yeah, actually, you know, Matthew, I got something for you, I think, too, that I wanted to add to it's kind of like my horror stream as well. Let me see if I can find that real quick, because I know I definitely saved this just for you. Yes.
Oh, no.
So how are you doing, Matthew? How's everything? You feeling the effects from your birthday week? You doing okay? All right. So Matthew, we are going to talk a little bit about your favorite sport, hockey, today. So I just wanted to let you know we'll do a little hockey and a little bit of anime. You know, your favorites. But we just real quick, let's just touch in and say hello to everybody in the chat. So Tats, how are you? The lovely Christina Payne, always working hard. We have Mitch, totally Mitch and Collectibles. Zach Bonifer, just kind of going up through. Welcome, guys. I really appreciate you guys being here. You know, like I said, we do have a great slate today. We have a great panel. We have people to bring on. And so, Matthew, you know, like I said, we are talking about sports. And you growing up, you have a wide interest of sports. I know that you like baseball. I know that you like wrestling, football. Now, are you a basketball fan as well? Okay. But you're just really not that much into hockey, right? Okay.
We'll get him there. We'll get him there. Like I just got him to like start watching more baseball. Like he usually follows on like through his phone and checks the score and watch the box score. But we'll get him into hockey eventually.
I'm surprised he's not a fan of like the Blackhawks. Like the Blackhawks.
Well, I mean, you know, at an early age, you know, he was, you know, clearly a baseball fan. We do have the evidence to show you. So Matthew was a baseball fan.
Nice.
You know, so we that's nothing wrong with that, Matthew, because you know I love baseball too. A lot of the sports you adapt and you learn to like. Sometimes it's your city. You know, like Dead Zone's a Phoenix Coyote, Arizona Coyote fan, and
I love that their arena that's in Phoenix too. Like I love that arena, Giller Arena. It's still named Giller, right? Or did they change it? Because I think it got sold or something.
It's Gila.
Yeah. Can you
it's in Glendale. It's not in Phoenix.
But what I wanted to do was we have another guest that I am going to bring on, a gentleman that I asked and reached out to, and he said he would more than love to come on to the show. The only thing is I do want to be able to provide an intro for him. You know, like I said, I do a lot of intros for you guys. I try to do the best I can. And sometimes, when I do put so many things on here, I got to scroll down and try to find them. So I am going to pull him up, and he did send me his intro to use, so I wanted to be able to pull that as well. So let me real quick get that set up, so we can give him his just due. But panel, gentlemen, let's just kind of start it off real quick. Tori would like to show off a couple of cards. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show Tori. He does that. It's his segment. He brings in some cards. So he does have a couple of hockey cards, I believe. So I'm going to give Tori the floor real quick.
All right. So I opened up last night. I opened up some O-Pee-Chee Platinum cards. These are the cards that I top loaded. It's an Adam Bachmist Rainbow. So that's a parallel rookie. Then I got Alexander Texier, a rainbow marquee rookie. Then I got the Joe Pavelski sunset card.
Nice.
Then I got Thomas Hurdle, thrilling finishers. And then I got Zach Parise. It's a violet pixels.
Nice.
And Pierre-Luc Dubois, violet pixels.
Yeah.
So I have no idea who any of these guys except Zach Parise because he was on the Devils. But so
Very awesome. So here's what I'd like to do real quick. Let me see something here. Tell me what's going on. Generally, Will, what's going on in Boston? How are we doing with the weather? Anything new? What's going on with you?
It's about 85, 90 right now. The sun's out. Beautiful. It's been pretty nice for the past couple of weeks. We had a couple rainy days for a little bit, but for the most part, it's been 90 plus every single day with the sunshine. So it's been hot. I did take out some of my older hockey cards, but I don't know where I put them, so I can't show them off. I had a bunch of old ones from the 50s and 60s and stuff, and I don't know where they are. So
what kind of cards were they? A lot of good, solid teams, good players.
Well, yeah, there was. I had one with George and Brett Hull and Esposito. Not like the newer type of cards. These were the older looking cards, so they kind of the photos are not clear as day. They're the I'm not sure what you would call it. Not like enamel, but kind of that. The painted type of cards, almost for the most part. A bunch of the older guys, but I don't know where the hell I put them. So I failed.
Okay. Well, what I'm gonna do is real quick. I'm just I'm trying to do something. And like I said, I'm doing it between my phone and the computer, so I'm kind of going back and forth. So just kind of, amongst yourselves real quick, I'm almost got it complete, what I'd like to do. If you can just kind of give me an idea, have you ever been to a hockey game? What has it been like? What are your experiences with some hockey, Sean, Batman, going to a game in general?
Well, hockey in general, I've been to a couple of NHL games. I usually just buy the NHL TV package. That way I can just watch it from home. A lot cheaper than actually going to a game.
It's fun watching it live, though.
Yeah, Yeah, and like Nashville's like a couple hours maybe away, and I've thought about going a couple of times. I have went to a Columbus Blue Jackets game. That was that was like 10 years ago. But I started developing into more of like minor league hockey, which here in Huntsville, they have the Huntsville Havoc, which is I want to say it's 2 steps down. It's not below NHL, but it's below that. So SPHL or something.
So like double A.
Yeah.
Double A, baby.
But I mean, I'm a season ticket holder to that. That in itself, you can buy a season ticket for those kind of games for 3, maybe 4 NHL games of what it costs. So, it's fun because I'm right down on the ice, down in the lower bowl. I'm not on actually on the ice up against the glass or anything, but in our arena, there's really not a bad spot, like a bad seat in the house. Even if you sit all the way up in the rafters, you can see the entire ice. You can see the play develop, where the puck is at all times. It's definitely very entertaining to watch throughout the entire game. Just because these guys that are playing in the minors, they're just as talented. They just haven't got there yet. They haven't got to shine yet. I think the only one that I know of through the Havoc that's actually gone somewhere is a goaltender for the Dallas Stars. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but I know he played for Huntsville Havoc back in, I think, 13 or 14, I think is what it was. But Havoc is also back-to-back champions, so they've won it 2 years in a row. Obviously, Corona slowed that down, so they pushed the season start until December, which is okay by me. Hockey is supposed to be in the cold anyway, so it's.
And we will actually touch on that, but we have played hockey in the desert. So let me go ahead without further ado. Like I said, I wanted to give people intros when they come on here, and it's just something when we have guests, it's always important. But this gentleman here, he is a YouTuber, a content creator, a Funko collector, an ice hockey player. He is a Jeep enthusiast, a comic reader, and a Husky lover. Let me go ahead and introduce you. To Mr. Pull this up here, scroll it all the way. Slapshot Pops. Hey, bud.
What's going on, man?
Hey, good morning. Thank you so much for being here, taking the time out of your weekend just to kind of hang out with the guys. Really appreciate it. When we thought about doing a hockey show in regards, we couldn't have a hockey show without a guy named Slapshot. So definitely, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me on.
So let's kind of talk a little bit about your background a little bit. You are a Jeep enthusiast as well, a Husky lover. Give us a little detail about you. You're a hockey guy. So for those that are chiming in for the first time, I'd love for them to know a little bit about you. So can you give us a little bit of background?
Yeah, absolutely. Basically been a diehard hockey guy my entire life. Started skating when I was 2 years old. So basically just as soon as I could walk, my parents threw me on skates and kind of took off from there. And more recently, though, I wanted to get on YouTube a little bit because I have a Funko addiction. And I wanted to see what I could do to combine hockey and sports and collecting. And it's just kind of taken off from there. And we've just trying to push out our entire philosophy behind, don't stop shooting until you score. And that's just become our motto, and trying to help people and promote positivity, which is definitely something we need right now during the quarantine. But just trying to let people know, no matter what you're into, you can get it, you can go after it, and kind of using hockey and collecting as our platform. Me personally, I played hockey all my life. Played hockey in college. After college, I was really sad that hockey was over, so I actually really got into refereeing, and that's kind of where my love of the game just reignited itself. And now, well, not right now, unfortunately, because of everything going on, but this past season I did get pretty far and ended up reffing a lot of high-level stuff, some college games, and then my unofficial career highlight, I actually got to referee the New York Rangers training camp last summer.
Oh,
so,
nice. Very nice.
So that's my short and sweet hockey career.
So what?
The guy that we yell at, like
yeah. I'm the guy that when you say you suck, I kind of turn and go, thanks.
Now you do know, and then the funny thing that's interesting too is during the regular season, they don't have like a written rule, but if the officials, the referees, can't play, like if something happens, they get a puck to the head, all the officials have to go out. That means that one player from each team has to get on the ice. It can either be a coach, a player, or they can pull somebody from the stands to officiate. And now in the playoffs, they have backup, referees. Right. But during the actual season, they do not have anything in place. So, I mean, that could be a situation where, you could be watching a game and all of a sudden they're like, hey, you look like a hockey guy. Come over here. We want you to officiate. So that was something that I came across. I found was pretty interesting. Did you get a chance, you're talking about Funkos a little bit. Did you recently pick anything up with the Funkoween Halloween stuff, or is there anything that's on your sites? You got the New York Comic-Con coming up. There's a lot of things in regards. Is there anything in your sites?
So actually, this past week was a big one for us. I was not able to get anything from the Funko shop in over a year. So this week was actually the first time that we were able to pick something up from a drop. And we actually got hopefully two of the Franken-Freddies. So that was the only thing we were able to score, which was fine because I'm a big Freddy collector. And basically, like moving forward, I'm trying to pick up all the Hockey Pops right now. So that's a big collection that I'm trying to finish. And then for the most part, I'm a huge Marvel, DC, Star Wars guy. So anything in that line that I can pick up, I try my best to. So yeah, if you see anybody in the chat saying that referees suck, that's my lovely girlfriend. So.
There's been multiple games that I've gone to, like Huntsville Havoc games, that I almost wanted to like started throwing stuff at the referees because they didn't see what I saw, or like they made a call that was just completely just bogus.
I've actually gotten hit with a few things, so I'm familiar.
So what I just kind of want to touch on just a little bit before I kind of get into the hockey world, we do have some other sports that are kind of going on, and I just wanted to kind of recap a little bit because we had some things that took place yesterday, and so I kind of wanted to get into that. And let me do this real quick here. Pull this up for you guys. All right, so we're going to head over to the NBA side of things. There were some NBA games. We do have the playoffs. They are in the bubble. They are down in Florida, making things happen. And let me go ahead and get that shared so I can pull that screen up. And just going to go to my ESPN source here. So what we're going to do is obviously you got Boston and Philly. Definitely at this point in time, Boston seems to have a handle on Philly. They're leading 3-0. You do have LeBron. He was actually doing really well when you look at the NBA playoffs here. LeBron scored, I believe it was like 38 points. And right now, the game is going on. We got Boston and Philly. Philly is up 32-27. But LeBron is pretty much securing right now in the playoffs. You have Paul, the Thunder, are in a 3-0 hole. They were, and they dodged that. So we have a lot of that going on right now. Doncic for the Mavs is out. It's going to be a game time decision for him. Basically, the Lakers are living at the line. They've been really hard to beat the last couple of games. So, there's a lot going on here with that. And so if we look at the schedule, just kind of touch bases a little bit. So today's games, we got Clippers and Dallas. Clippers are up 2-1. Toronto can close it out against the Nets. Utah has taken a 2-1 lead over Denver. And Boston is looking to close it out as well today. So we definitely have some basketball in the mix. And let's go over to the baseball here and see if we have any scores to present. At this point in time, we go to that scoreboard.
There are probably 5 postponed games.
Yep.
And so that's what we're going to look at right now and see what's coming in. So in the fourth, the Nationals have taken a 2-1 lead over the Marlins. You have the Blue Jays, a 1-0 lead over the Rays. There's a rain delay with the Brewers and the Pirates. Tigers and Indians are 1-1. The Red Sox are up 1-0 over the Orioles.
It's early.
And later on, we got the Reds and Cardinals, Twins and Royals, the White Sox and Cubs. So you got White Sox and Cubs today. Astros and Padres, Rockies and Dodgers, Angels and Athletics, Diamondbacks and Giants, Phillies and Braves, Yankees and Mets were postponed. So we have that a little bit today. But I also wanted to know, you guys obviously collect sports and cards and stuff, and I know, Tori, you're a big collector. One of the things that did recently come up was one of the cards that is very on the high list right now is Mr. not Jim Evans.
Mike Trout?
Yes, Mike Trout. I don't know why I said Jim Evans, because I saw the Angels. But Mike Trout. So it's a very highly sought after card. It's seared up as one of the tops right now. So do you happen to have any Mike Trouts?
Rookies? No.
Okay.
I didn't really collect cards back then, and I think so he was a rookie. His rookie card was in 2011. So to get a box of tops for a Mike Trout card, I think it's like $11,000.
Oh wow!
To get a box of 2011 tops, not even guaranteed
That it's in there.
Getting a rookie, a Mike Trout rookie or anything, but I think one of his cards sold for $90,000.
Oh wow! Well, so what is your thoughts on a Mike Trout? I mean, is he a type of player that you see so far? Obviously, he's done extremely well.
Oh yeah, he's going to be arguably the best baseball player ever.
Okay, so you're hearing that from so even over someone like Aaron Judge, you're looking at Trout as landslide, right?
Yeah, landslide. Just because Judge hasn't been able to stay healthy, so and also Mike Trout, Aaron Judge doesn't steal, so it's sort of not really a comparison. But I mean, I don't think anyone will touch Babe Ruth. That's just my opinion, because Ruth was able to pitch at a high level, and obviously he's arguably the best hitter ever. But,
I would disagree.
What?
I don't think he's the greatest hitter ever.
I said arguably.
Okay, yeah, I'm arguing.
Well, I mean, I think you could argue that Barry Bonds is better, but then you get into the steroids issue. And I mean, Mike Trout's going to be up there when all is said and done. You got Griffey, but Griffey has the injury that cut short his career. You know,
And Barry Bonds was hitting home runs when he first came in the league. So
Yeah.
I mean,
that's why I think that he's ultimately a Hall of Famer, because he was on that track before the whole steroids thing.
now obviously when he first came in the league, he was, his frame, how he bulked up over the years. I mean, yeah, sure, there's a lot of, discussion and debate in that regards. But the one thing I just wanted to touch in on Major League Baseball at this point in time, just to kind of get your guys' just a little opinion. You got the trade deadline is at the end of the month. So right now you don't have the scouts. Usually you have scouts that would be at the games. They would be tracking, taking notes. You would have a lot of that. So right now they're relying on video. They're relying on just notes of from last year, things like of that general. With the pandemic and everything that's going on, I'm just going to kind of touch bases with you in the baseball. I'll start with you, Batman. Do you feel through this pandemic, these teams are going to make a push that somebody's going to say, you know what, let's trade. As a player with this pandemic that's going on, do you really want to go to another city? You know what I mean? Do you really want to be in that situation of having to say, okay, let me get traded? I mean, there are going to be some players that can agree to it and deny it. But with the trade deadline, which is usually so huge and so big, what do you look at this time of the year with the pandemic and everything that's going on? I mean, you got teams do want to make a push, but do they really make that push?
I don't think that the trade deadline is really going to affect the outcome for either team. I mean, this year, like usually there's in years past, like trade deadline comes around and they pick up one or two guys, and like you said too, with the pandemic, I don't think would be the best move right now. Come next year, if they are still wanting that certain person or that certain player to, I don't like it, because I mean you don't know what you're going to get into if you're going to go from, let's say, like Boston to the West Coast. I mean, you have no idea that. I mean, you could just, with the pandemic, I just don't see it working out for any team. It's going to be a little scary just because of the fact that, I mean, just like it is every year with the trade deadline, people don't know. Like,
you also, yeah. I mean, that's a great point. I mean, the other thing is too, like, because you were talking about Boston to LA and stuff, but St. Louis, the Cardinals just recently went through a stretch where they had to be quarantined, and what if the Cardinals, are saying, okay, like we have a lot of games to play in a lot of days. What if they're looking to make a push or trade? As a player, you're like, man, I don't know, but I mean, go to a clubhouse, that just had that type of situation. You got the Florida Marlins. You have a lot of scenarios that pop up, so that was one of the things. Normally, like I said, the trade deadline would be pretty huge. It's something we're going to monitor, as we get into the end of the month, to see what happens and plays out, because you have some players that are also in a free agent year. And so it really, really kind of messes things up from a usual standpoint that we would look at this time of the year. I mean, because
and the flip side of it too, the league itself, I think, is doing a really good job with containing it and basically postponing games that they don't even. I mean, there's, like, what'd you say, Tori? There was 5 today that were postponed.
I don't know. It seems like every day there is
and
5 games that are postponed.
And then back to the Cardinals. I mean, the Cardinals played 5 games. What would we say, Callie? They were at 5 games, and then we were already at like 15, I think. So, I mean, they were still 10 games behind. But, I mean, I think the league is doing a pretty good job, even with, for example, with the Reds. Nick Senzel, he was the one that had it. And they postponed it like for 4 games, I think. and we still haven't seen him back in the lineup. So it.
So I actually got 2 baseball cards that one I think will appreciate. It's the Carl Yastrzemski short print
Oh, nice.
from this year, and got Babe Ruth.
Cool.
So
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's, like I said, so I definitely want to monitor that scenario. Like I said, I love base. Yeah.
Just real quick, my Sox made a trade, I believe, yesterday with the Phillies. We traded away Keith Hembry, Brandon Workman, player to be named later, and some cash for I think two pitches, if I'm not mistaken. So
yeah,
I believe, I'm not sure, but I think that's the first trade this baseball season. I'm not positive, but I believe that was the first trade that any team has done this year.
And I can get behind, like, if it's something that close. But if you're going from one side of the country to the other side of the country, you're going from, like, middle or the Midwest to the South, I just don't think it's the best decision.
Well, I think it's. I mean, these guys they're going to be traveling by private jet. They're not going to be in planes with, regular everyday people that, may have COVID. So I don't think that's an issue. I think it's just. I think teams are going to be hesitant because there are no scouts, so they can't scout players. And a lot of these big trades, the thing about baseball is a lot of the big trades involve prospects. So you're going to see the teams that are pulling off the trades are going to be the teams that have good analytics departments.
Yeah, because those prospects.
I mean, you're normally
there's no proof of them this year.
Right.
They're not playing.
That's the other thing. There's no minor leagues happening right now. They do have the alternate site, so there's some prospects training and stuff, but teams don't have access to that. So,
well, the thing is we got the trade deadline coming up. The Red Sox did make a trade with the Phillies. Nick Pivetta is he's kind of bounced around Philadelphia a little bit. He's had some good stretches of games. He's probably their more solid guy going to Boston. It looks like Brandon Workman, Heath Hembry, and Cash to the Phillies for Nick Pivetta and Connor Siebold. So we'll see how that plays out. I mean, obviously the Red Sox are looking to try to turn the corner. But the other thing that we wanted to touch. We don't know what the season's going to bring at the end. We really don't, but we look forward to seeing how baseball shapes up with this COVID. But we also have around the corner is the NFL.
Really?
There's your Mr.
Really?
So obviously in the NFL, one of the things I just kind of wanted to touch on because they are gearing up. But pretty soon here you got the fantasy football, and fantasy football is pretty big. So this year, this week each week we're going to kind of touch in on quarterbacks, running backs, tight ends, and stuff leading into the beginning of the season. I wanted to touch on receivers and give you an idea who I thought was the top 5 wide receivers for fantasy football to go after, and that is going to be Devontae Adams, Michael Thomas, Tyreek Hill, DeAndre Hopkins, and Allen Robinson. Those are the ones that I have. If you look at last year, it was on average 34.9 times the ball was thrown per game, the 4th highest mark to the wide receivers. The NFL offenses, they are spread out. They have a higher target shares when you're looking at fantasy football. So definitely, there's a lot of plethora of wide receivers to choose from. So make sure you obviously you pick a good one. I know Will's into fantasy football. I know Batman, you're looking to get that going. So that's tidbits of information for you guys. So real quick, I wanted to find out as before we got into the hockey segment of things. I'm hearing this right here. So is there a bet? Is there something going on?
Me and Callie basically made like kind of a gentleman's agreement. We'll do a $50 mystery box to the winner. We did start at 10 games in MLB, and his 10 games are over. He's 5-5, so he's at 500. I still have 2 more games to play. I need to win both of those games in order to tie. Our tiebreaker, if we do end up both being 500, are home runs, which the Reds have more right now. I recalculated, have more home runs than the Cubs do. But we
The
also
Reds suck?
Yeah, what?
I said the Reds suck. Is that what you were going to say when you said
what
the
I want to
Reds
know
suck?
wait, it doesn't even matter because you don't even watch baseball this year. So we've talked about that too. So no, it was home runs. Strikeouts, it wasn't strikeouts, it was home runs. We had this conversation. We had this conversation the other night.
Yeah.
We both said strikeouts, and then we got confirmed that it was.
So let me go ahead and real quick. We have another panel member that I'd like to bring on and say hello and everything. So like I said, let's give him a lot of due. He's always a hard worker throughout the week, family man. Let me go ahead and get his thing queued up here real quick.
Kelly.
And Mr. TechBot. Hey, Chris, how are you?
What's going on, guys?
So White Lightning. So is that the choice? Is that what you're going to be doing, the White Lightning?
That's what we're doing on Friday.
So for those of you that might not know, let's go ahead, Mr. TechBot, just kind of let everybody give an idea about your show, you and Wayne, what's going on with White Lightning.
We really just like to have fun, and someone brought up a suggestion of us doing a hot item, and I mean, who doesn't like a YouTuber hurting themselves? It's always good video. So we decided we'll do a challenge, and we let the Instagram voters pick, and they picked White Lightning, which has I think a 700,000 Scoville. It's gonna suck.
Okay. Now you've seen some of the other shows that have taken place, like with Fox and Troy from Property Outlaws, and Mark the Nerd Bar over on Mama J and Spector's channel, and you saw kind of what happened with them in regards, Brandy and Fox also had on their show as well. So are you nervous about this? Obviously you're going into new territory with the White Lightning. Do you feel like you have a game plan with this?
I don't think you can have a game plan when you have something that's hot. Maybe have some milk up here or something like that. But I'm just gonna, I mean, it's not that large. I mean, if you actually look at it, I mean, it's not that big, but it's.
That's what she said.
But it's going to be interesting. It's just one of those things. You're just going to have to go for it.
What is it?
It's white chocolate.
Chocolate.
With a hell of a lot of pepper in it.
I think though you'll be okay as long as you do some kind of preparation. Pepto-Bismol. I mean, coat your stomach somehow. That way, it's not automatically just going to come back up. But
we talked about that. We had talked about doing the Pepto thing, stuff like that. No, I think if I bought it, I'm going to do the challenge. I'm going to show it on camera. I'm going to go balls to the wall.
Okay.
Now, Joey, have you done anything like that on any of your shows? In regards, like if you go, like you have Matthew. You haven't done anything like that. Dead Zone. You guys haven't done anything like that. Tori, Slapshot. Do you guys venture into any of that? Have you thought about it?
If I did that, all you would see was just my chair because I'd be on the floor.
Yeah.
Well, there's four of us doing it. There's four of us.
Spicy well at all.
Well, maybe your orange juice might save you in regards. But what we're actually kind of getting into today, Mr. TechBot, just to let you know, is we're diving into the world of hockey. Now I know, with Will being a Boston fan, I believe that also you follow that same suit, that you're a Bruin.
I'm a diehard Bruins fan, man.
Okay. So what did growing up, what did you play hockey? Did you, was that something?
The most we did as growing up in Mass was, every winter you went out and played pond hockey, stuff like that. You got your hockey sticks and skates out. You went out to the local pond, and that you kind of hung out there all day.
Okay. Well, just to kind of, like I said, I do want to get into, hockey as our meat and potatoes a little bit. So let me go ahead and cue this up here real quick.
The NBC Sports Network welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Hockey League.
So we have, when we're looking at hockey, there's a lot, so much in regards. Now, I myself have actually gone to a hockey game, and it is way different than watching it on TV. I went to the Sharks, and just seeing how they smash into the boards, the atmosphere, the cold, the crowd, just the timeout, TV timeouts, and everything in general for an actual hockey game. Way different than watching it on TV. Now, usually during the playoffs, I do enjoy watching the playoffs a lot because every game seems like a game 7 a lot of times. Sure, you're going to get your occasional blowouts, but until a team can gain an upper hand, even when you're up 3-0, it's not necessarily a guarantee. There's been many teams that have come back and won 4 in a row. So when you look at that, and you look at how hockey has obviously, it's an impact. And since 1914, 1915, when they actually started the seasons of hanging on to the cups and trophies, the Montreal Canadiens, they actually have won it 24 times. So that's very, very impressive. But now in the U.S., the team that has won the most is Detroit Red Wings for 11 times. Now, I don't know if any of the other teams have come as close to that. But so Slapshot, you going to games, like, obviously being a avid hockey guy, was there a certain game that stood out for you? Is there a game that you can remember, like a playoff game, your first game, something that kind of hit home with you, that kind of got you really into hockey?
Playing myself or watching or NHL game?
Well, you obviously had to have a fascination and love for hockey. It's obviously, so how did that grow? Like what for me, like I said, obviously playing baseball, going to a baseball game when I was younger, throwing the ball with my dad, there was things that built up to that. It created the domino effect. So for you leading, I know you're an avid hockey guy. So what has gotten you from that starting point? What pulled you in?
Well, my family was a big spark in that. My dad played college hockey, so we were already, my mom she went pretty far with figure skating. So we were already we were always at the rink anyway. But there was one game that I will always remember. Like I'm a big Rangers fan, so I have to thank Boston for killing the Carolina Hurricanes because they were the first team I wanted to see go home. November 26th, 2005
You're
is
welcome, my brother.
yeah, thank you. November 26th, 2005, I turned 12, and that day was when Merrick Malik went down on the shootout and put the puck in between his legs and shot it over, I think it was Kolzig, and for the Capitals. And that was kind of like a big moment in my life because number one was my birthday, and the Rangers won in the shootout, so that was pretty cool. But I just always thought it was fascinating. You know, someone always seems to come along and do a new trick or do a new move. Like I got into an argument with a guy like 2-3 years ago. He was like, "Oh, hockey's really boring. It's just like basketball or something. You know, they just go back and forth and back and forth." And I'm like, I can't speak to basketball, but I can tell you, like every single year, there's somebody creating a new move, like flipping the puck a different way, putting it on their stick a different way. And I was always just trying to do these different moves and trying to incorporate them into my own game. So that was a big moment in my own life.
Do you have, I mean, are you an avid fan as far as like jerseys, you know, getting hockey helmets, you know, like memorabilia? I mean, are you big in with the autographs, you know, things like that?
I was. I had a pretty massive hockey collection or hockey card collection when I was in high school. I unfortunately I sold the collection to a company for about 12 grand, which I heavily regret nowadays. I had all of Ovechkin's rookie cards, even like the super rare ones. I had a couple of Crosbys. I had a lot of Malkins. I sold them all because they were just hot at the time, and definitely should have held on to them had I known Crosby was going to go win 3 cups, and then Ovechkin just won his cup. But now I collect, like I said, I'm trying to pick up all the hockey pops, and I would really like to have a few of these signed one day. So if I happen to meet some of the players again, I met Rick Nash last year, so I've met a few people, but I think it'll be really cool to start getting some pops signed.
Well, you know, $7 a pop just yesterday had the Larry Bird and Magic Johnson signed pops. So maybe somewhere down the road, they'll look into also having some hockey signed pops as well. Obviously, anything that from your childhood, whether it's sports, Hollywood, things like that, having something signed is a great thing. So let me go ahead and real quick, I wanted to go to Dead Zone.
One thing. Have you checked out Fanatics? They have some signed hockey pops.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Fanatics?
I've seen Fanatics. They have a lot of signed like memorabilia, like pictures and
they have pops,
cards and stuff, and pucks. But I didn't know they had pops. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, they have pops.
Okay. So Dead Zone, being in the desert. Now, I know that they have played a hockey game, an inaugural hockey game in Arizona. It was a nighttime game. And if I want to see here, I do have it on notes. I had written that down. And I'm going to go through that, but I wanted to see where I might have it. But before I get to that, you know, your background with hockey, I mean, you know, in sports, do you have, now I know you have a great shelf, you know, a great room that you've created and worked hard on. Do you have other space for your passion or hockey? I mean, do you have memorabilia? Do you have something that has alluded to hockey?
There's plenty of hockey stuff. I got some stuff over here. There's a hat, you know, right there. Kings were my first team that I liked because I didn't grow up here. So I grew up in California. You know, I was in high school when Gretzky joined the Kings, and so that was super cool. So I mean, there was no hockey anywhere to be found where I grew up. You know, I grew up on in a little small beach town, and there was no hockey there at all. but the good thing is when Wayne Gretzky joined the Kings, my mom worked for she was a city clerk at the city hall, and so one of the councilmen or his nephew was Luc Robitaille. So we got a little bit of insight on that. And while we never got tickets to the games, we did get tickets to other games. So like he'd get us tickets to like the Lakers, and so we'd always go see the Lakers the first game of the season, the Lakers, because he'd always get us tickets to that. But just hockey was just nowhere to be found. But a bunch of my friends, we all liked it, so we played roller hockey all the time. We play at night on the tennis courts at the junior high school because they didn't care, and the lights were on a timer, and we just turned them on, and they probably figured that it was better than us running around causing other problems. So they just let us do our thing. So we used to play there all the time. But yeah, and then when I moved to Arizona, I just, the Coyotes were new. Everybody was always like to talk shit about them, just because they weren't sure they were going to stay, and this, that, and the other thing. And
what do you mean? Everybody still does.
Yeah, they still do.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, it's a little better now, than it was before. I mean, you got some management in place. You got somebody that's picked up the team that's ready to spend some money. So hopefully, that's kind of always been the problem. Is there nobody was willing to spend the money. So you got to have money to have decent players come in and play. So yeah, it's getting better and stuff, but. We had season tickets to the Coyotes for like 4 seasons. But I mean, and we'd go and watch games a lot. The problem is that we're, it's almost a 4-hour round trip for us to go up to the games. Like we would go and then we'd get back at like 2-3 o'clock in the morning and stuff, but it got harder and harder to do that with, we had our son and everything too. But it was super fun going out there. I mean, we had great seats. They do all kinds of good things for their season ticket holders. I mean, we were 3rd row right next to the bench. So we had great seats, and it was fun. And then they brought their AHL team to Tucson a few years ago. So we kind of switched over and we got season tickets to the Tucson Roadrunners, which the Cardinals own that team. They've purchased it, so they're that they're going all in. So.
Wait, did anyone else just catch that? The Roadrunners and the Coyotes? just saying.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the Kings farm team used to be in Phoenix, and they were the Roadrunners, so they kind of went with that name, obviously off the theme of the Coyotes and the Roadrunners, which was super cool. But the good thing about the being in the market of the Coyotes is that nobody's really looking at them seriously or anything like that. And we got to go to a ton of functions where we got to meet the players, and they were just accessible to us like all the time. Like they would, I mean, I got a signed puck from Shane Doan that they walked up and gave it to us. Like when we were just at the arena doing, when you do your season tickets here, I don't know if it's the same at other places, but you basically do a run for your seats. So they have numbers on all the seats, and they let you just go at it, and you run and try to find the best seats you can, and you pull the ticket out of it, and then you can go up and sign up for your seats and stuff. And I mean, a bunch of the players were there. We got to meet them. Same with the Roadrunners. I mean, it's so new that they've let us on the ice and stuff when after games and meet the players, and we've got the sticks and all kinds of stuff that they've done for us. I mean, and getting the season tickets to the Roadrunners, they give you free games to the Coyotes. So they give you like two games where you go, and they give you really good seats. I mean, we kind of just do the both, and it's been super fun. I mean, we're just more on the fan side rather than the play side. I mean, I think if there was like a sheet of ice anywhere near where I grew up, it would have been a totally different story. I would have been a player for sure. But it's been a good experience for sure, at least here in Arizona.
They do about the same kind of thing that with Havoc too, is like they have certain days like Star Wars Day or like Harry Potter Day or whatever, and they actually have specialty jerseys that the players wear, and they have jersey night where you can go and get a free jersey it's basically a replica as long as you're the first 100, 500 people. I think it's 100, 100 or 200, one of the two.
That's a good thing about the AHL or the minor games is they have so many different themes. And it's fun because you can take it, obviously if you have children, it's a good place to take them because there's all kinds they do trick-or-treating there. They do, all these different theme nights, which is, like you said, Star Wars and Harry Potter and, all kinds of other things.
I think that they had SpongeBob like night too, but it's really cool that even they bring both like you're saying, the family aspect into it and the adult aspect, because at the end of the game, they do auction off the back of the jersey off the back, and it's a straight auction. So
yeah, we've been there for that too, and it's super cool. I mean, it's good to see.
So the thing is that was kind of interesting that I had talked about the desert. So it was actually in Las Vegas, but the first outdoor NHL game was in the desert in Las Vegas. It was in 1991. The Kings and the Rangers in a preseason game outside of Caesar Palace in Las Vegas. It was a sellout crowd. So that's obviously, with hockey, there's a lot that goes on with hockey that you can look at. And some people will be like, I'm not really into hockey. My friend in high school was a huge hockey fan. He was a Kings fan. And he got me kind of into hockey a little bit. And like I said, when you watch the playoffs and you're really dived into that, especially if your team's in it, it's a great watch. I mean, these guys are slamming into boards. You get these overtimes, these double overtimes. You get shootouts. I mean, there's a lot that the hockey provides to you. But one of the things that I also wanted to talk about and get your guys' opinion is, they've had some hockey movies. They've had some really good hockey movies. And so I wanted to kind of give you a list of what I thought was, in that top range, top 5 movies. And you guys can chime in on, each one. We'll kind of go. What's that? So, I mean, I'm going to show you the pictures of what I think is the top 5 films. And you can agree, disagree, and chime in a little bit on it. Not a problem. But let's go ahead and go with number 5 here. We have The Mighty Ducks. Obviously, The Mighty Ducks is a great film. Emilio Estevez. They also had a sequel to that. So you do have The Mighty Ducks.
They had 3.
They had 3, yes. And then we also this is a different type of hockey movie, but it was interesting because it was action and adventure in a way, or not so much adventure, but action. You had Sudden Death with Jean-Claude Van Damme. And then we had The Men from Alaska, Mystery Alaska, which is, they consider the Rocky of hockey. And then, of course, you might be able to, we can play them 10 times and they might beat us 9 out of 10, but not today. We have Miracle,
That's number one. That's the number one.
I was Miracle number 2. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
All right, hold on. Now,
You
hold
put
on.
Slapshot's going to be number one.
Listen to me.
Slapshot's going to be number one.
Now, I wanted to put it up for debate, but the reasons why I didn't put Miracle number 1 is I knew that Slapshot was going to be on our show, and so I just kind of wanted to put that. Now, the number 1 comedy hockey is Slapshot that they have. So now looking at those films, coming through, is there any that I might have missed? Where would you place? What do we got here? Slapshot. What are we missing?
Missing my shirt, man. No, does anyone know what my shirt is? No.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Youngblood. Anybody ever see Youngblood?
Youngblood. Okay.
Right.
No. Who was in that? God, that rings.
Is that the Emilio Estevez movie?
No, that had a guy. Now his name is escaping me. The guy who plays him is a pretty big actor.
Yeah, there was
So Rob Lowe, right?
Rob Lowe, yeah, Rob Lowe.
There you go. Okay. What was the premise of that movie, Youngblood?
Basically, he's a teenager. He lives in the middle of nowhere in Canada, and he goes to try out for he drives 3 hours away to go try out for the big, amateur team. And he's really, really good as far as stick handling, shooting, skating. But then he goes up into the big boys of the farm team land, and he gets his ass whooped because he starts, they fight and they check hard, and he's just not used to that type of hockey. It's a really good movie. It's a very underrated movie. It took me a while to actually find one that wasn't in French. I think it did very well in Canada, so it's not really well known here. I believe it was Rob Lowe's first or second movie. It was very early in his career. He did a great job, and if you guys haven't seen it, you definitely have to go watch it because it's just a very well done, low budget, gritty hockey movie.
Yep.
Yeah, I definitely want to be able to check that out.
Is that it's backwards now. That movie, he was fully skilled and fast and everything.
Right.
And now it's flip flopped. You have the guys that are want to get into it, and those are the guys that are now challenged in the current arena. So it's funny that you mentioned that.
So Youngblood, let me see if I can pull something up here real quick.
Is Happy Gilmore a hockey movie?
No, Happy Gilmore is
a golf movie. It's a golf movie. That's a special notation.
He wanted to be a hockey player, but it was a golf movie.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me go ahead, see if I can pull this up here real quick. Because I definitely, caught my attention.
So another quick thing about Youngblood, Keanu Reeves was in the movie as well. He was the goalie on the team. And so their team was the Mustangs. That's what this shirt is from.
Okay.
And then, who was the other big guy who was in it? He recently passed away.
Let's take a look here real quick and see if we can get this.
Patrick Swayze. Patrick Swayze was in it.
Oh, yeah, Patrick Swayze.
I've been offered a tryout with Hamilton Mustangs. I got to play junior. I'm never going to play pro. All the scouts are going to be there. Dean Youngblood scored 92 goals this year so far for the Stanton Flyers.
Get him a uniform.
I remember that.
Is here.
New uniforms for the playoffs?
Want to go, pretty boy? Come on.
You got to play it according to their rules.
Maybe I made a mistake about you. What do you think?
Okay, so I'm just a little bit of that, but so Youngblood, obviously, you got a good cast. Rob Lowe, Patrick Swayze. Definitely something to check out. Awesome. So real quick, also want to just kind of go and say hello to everybody in the chat. The Proper Popper, Pop Crew, how are ya? Reckless Pops, Mama J. I know that you were in here. And then just Simone. Definitely appreciate you guys being here and just hanging out. So, hockey, there's other things that go on with hockey, and you deal with fights, you deal with hits, and definitely that is the one sport. I mean, in baseball, they charge them out and they start throwing, fisticuffs at each other. It gets broken up. Usually, sometimes the bench comes out. In
They try
hockey,
and fight in baseball. They suck
yeah,
at it.
but in hockey, they can literally go for a while. Like sometimes, there's a little bit of few minutes before separations and stuff. And even you've seen where, referees, would sometimes get into it in that situation. So what I wanted to show you guys was kind of just wanted to go over some of the hits here. And let me scroll down to that or scroll up. Or I want to do that. Yeah. So this is hockey hits. And I wanted to kind of show you guys and see what you guys thought. Definitely check these out here. So boom, we got this guy right here taking it right into the nose. Now it's so dangerous, but it's obviously a lot of the fans enjoy seeing something like this to some extreme. Boom, right there, guy taking one down. Air shot right there. Boom. These guys are getting airborne. I mean, you have that. You got your brew in there.
Oh yeah, for that game.
That was a crazy game.
You have now he's going to end up with a headache, smashing right into the boards like that. Ouch.
No, he was out next shift. He was all right.
Yeah. It took him a minute to get off the ice, too.
Now you do have, obviously you get some bloodshed that is coming through there. And then occasionally you will have the player that decides to go through the boards in his own way. Wait, let me get that. Boom, with the glass right there. So, I mean, hockey, is obviously has a tone of violence, or it's especially in the playoffs. I mean, it's brutal. So just wanted to kind of run the bases with you guys. When you're in some of these playoff games or you're watching, is there ever a game that you went to that you got to see like a really cool, interaction like this? Whether it's a huge hit, I mean, obviously you get your usual checks, into the boards and stuff like that, but you do have those usual teams that really do not like each other. And when they're playing each other, there's players that will say something, they have an issue with something, they hold a grudge. So obviously the melee does come out on the ice.
Well, there's like multiple things that like build into like another two players getting into it too. Because I mean, you hit the goalie and the whole team goes after you. I mean, some trips that like a tripping foul happens, the team goes after you. So, and to build kind of more into like combining the two, hockey is such an intense physical sport, in my opinion, that, I mean, it's even more than some football games. I mean, you're not, I mean, in a football game, you're beating someone off the line, but in a hockey game, you're up and down the ice. I mean, you're going pretty quick on the ice, and things happen a lot faster than what they do in a football game. And when you're talking about the hits, some of those hits, you're like, I would never want to be that guy, ever.
Yeah.
Not to mention, hockey they are so underpaid for what they do on the ice compared to baseball and football and basketball. These guys deserve the money that some baseball players would get or some basketball players would get, because it is ridiculous how they put their lives on the line every single game, basically, because you never know when you're going to take a puck to the face.
Well, I don't know if I would use that phrase, but I mean, yeah, they are putting themselves in harm's way, but I mean, they're not putting their life on the line,
Well, the thing is with hockey, it's totally different from a lot of the sports. And you do get, especially in the playoff time, you do get that intensity. And the other thing that you see is in the helmets. One of the things I've always enjoyed with the goalies was the helmets and the designs, the intensity that they add into their helmets. Because like any other sport, I mean, baseball, could you imagine if baseball, I mean, football has their logos, but if you guys were to have free reign into drawing on your helmets and creating your helmets. So I wanted to kind of show you guys a couple of them and get your opinions on these. So obviously, the Sharks, awesome helmet in itself right there. Probably the best one in the NHL, hands down. You have
You would say that.
this one right here. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, help me out if you guys recognize that at all by chance. But I wrote that down.
Vancouver Venoms.
Yeah.
Okay. Very awesome. Thank you so much.
That's actually Vancouver?
Then we have Boston Bruin.
It's Rask.
That was a great one, but there was actually one back in the day. I know Will's gonna remember back in the day with Andy Moog. He used to have one, but it had the actual bottom jaw on the bottom end where it says Rask, so it had the full end of the bear. Yeah. I always loved that one better.
We have Mr. Coyote here, Wild Coyote. Then we got a couple of them here from New York. Got the Islanders. Got that little design here on the side. And we have this one as well. So some really cool helmets. And obviously, we can't forget you, Batman. You do have the Columbus. But I thought that I haven't seen an actual Batman on a helmet, which is kind of surprising, because I know Batman's really not as popular in the NHL as maybe, say, Joker. But there's obviously a lot of cool designs, a lot of cool helmets. What's your thoughts on that? Just kind of going through, do you guys, is that like something you would collect, memorabilia? Like, would you like to have, or do you have a helmet from your team? A lot of people collect different stuff. A lot of people are fans to the sport in different ways. Now, Slapshots, you said that you had about 12,000 in a lot of memorabilia. Did you ever have anything in a helmet wise?
Not that I can think of. I did have a couple, cool cards with some of the hockey goalies, and sometimes they zoom in on the face mask and stuff like that. Okay. But it would be cool if they did like smaller replicas of the different designs. Sometimes you'll see smaller replicas of just the standard helmet with the logo on it. But it would be cool if they did like the personalized stuff. So if you were a fan of like Tuukka Rask or Henrik Lundqvist, you could have their specific helmet.
Yeah, that would be pretty awesome.
They also have there's some games that you can go to, or if you went to them, there were certain bobbleheads that you could get from that have the actual like detail oriented helmet on it. So that brings into another like collecting. If you collect bobbleheads or anything like that, there's multiple bobbleheads out there that are very detail oriented, and they have like almost a replica of that certain game.
Okay. So what I also wanted to bring into you guys, helmets. I always enjoyed the helmets a great deal, and I think it's the same thing. Just going through a whole list when I was looking at them last night, it's just like so many cool ones. I probably could have put 100 on there. But obviously with sports, helmets for the goalies, they got to stand out. One of the goalies that I always remember was Cujo. Curtis Joseph. And like I said, Martin. You have I'm sorry, catch. I want to say Martin Brodeur. You have like a lot of players that I kind of like got an opportunity to be around or know, like growing up with Wayne Gretzky, as far as because my friend was a Kings fan, Mark Messier was very solid. I remember playing the video games, how Detroit Red Wings were always so good. You're always trying to smash them in the boards, and the blood would go on the ice and things like that. But I do have a trivia to pull up. And
well, Eric, if you don't mind, before we do the trivia, let's get back to this, Miracle being the best hockey movie. In my opinion, Miracle is the hockey movie. Almost Remember the Titans is the best. Again, my opinion, best football movie out there. If you look at cast and storyline, and just all around, Miracle was based off of that. What is it? Is it 89
Olympics?
It's the 1980 Olympics.
1980, yeah. So
well, to go with that, and I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this other movie, but there was another movie that came out, I think in the early 2000s, and it was basically the opposite view of Miracle, and it's called The Red Army.
Yes.
I heard about that.
I don't know if you guys have ever seen it.
It's just now being released or re-released, or isn't it? Or remake.
Yeah, it wasn't. I don't think it was widely distributed initially, but it is a fantastic documentary. And this one, I forget the reporter, but he basically goes and interviews a lot of the people from the Soviet side, and they just break down everything leading up to the 1980 Olympics and how people didn't even react when they lost because they just expected them to win.
Right.
So, and it was it's a very unique perspective, and you see the players, they were just they went back and they were not treated the same by their families. And then there was the whole thing throughout the late 90s and the 2000s with the Red Five, the 5 players that came over to play in the NHL. And that was such a big deal. And they all ended up playing for the Red Wings at one point. So the movie just takes you through all that. And it's a phenomenal film.
And when you talk about sports movies too, that it's all about just how true it was. Like you're saying, those are actual facts that basically these guys what they went through, and day in and day out.
And Miracle is also great because Kurt Russell did such a great job playing Herb Brooks. And I think to cap it all off, Herb Brooks never actually, he died before the final cut of the movie was done. And then if you get there's an extended bonus DVD with the extended cut, and they go through, it took them almost a year to figure out how they were even going to do this movie, where they got to find actors and kind of fake the hockey stuff. And then they were no, we're going to go out. We're going to find hockey players that look like the guys who were there. We're really going to run them into the ground. We're going to do play by play. We're going to do scene by scene. And I think it's a movie. If you want to break down movies of the century, I think it's got to be up there.
Yeah. Well, and Kurt Russell, in that same extended cut, I believe too, that he actually worked with Mel Brooks really close for probably a good 6 months, and learned his aneurysms, learned how he really was, how he talked, just the mere facial expression that he would have.
The ugly suits.
Right.
Now, I actually I coached softball for a long time. I coached girls softball since I was 18, and here in Tahoe, I coached at the high school for about 4 years. And when the girls became seniors, we had a really, really solid team. And we made it. We had the tournament at the end of the year where, you qualify, and then obviously you go to state. Well, before we made it to the championship game, I actually pulled from Miracle, and I used part of that, kind of speech to channel that inner, side of it. And, I knew the girls didn't really know much about the hockey or the Miracle as much probably as their parents or whatever. But I did use some of that. And because the team that we were playing was a very strong team, however, our results ended up not very well. We lost that game. It was a close, tight game, but we did lose it. So we did not go to state. but we were hosting the tournament, the regional tournament. So it was really nice for the seniors, their parents and stuff to kind of see that. And one of the biggest things that was hard about that was if we had won and gone to the regionals, they basically were like, they were freaked out because they wanted to go to Disneyland. They were seniors and they're like, well, what about our Disneyland trip? And so I was like, come on, this is like championship sports. Like you get an opportunity that you don't get to do this all the time. You can always go to Disneyland. But with hockey, like I said, I did prepare a little quiz. I wanted to kind of see
I'm gonna suck at this thing.
how things are here. How you guys do. So let me go ahead and bring that up real quick. Now, Slapshot, I don't know if you've played this before. So generally, what we're gonna do is let me put it in the private chat.
I got money on Slapshot winning.
Well, actually, don't take my word for it, because so one of my buddies at work, he's big into like fantasy gambling, like all that kind of stuff, and he mostly does like football and baseball, but we don't really have football and baseball right now. So he comes over to my desk and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna sign up for some hockey stuff. Hook me up. Let me know." And he's, let me know which players to pick. And he starts picking all these guys, and he's like, it was funny just trying to hear him pronounce some of his names. And I said, dude, you got to get Svechnikov from the Carolina Hurricanes. Like, he's doing really well. He's pretty hot right now. He and Aho are clicking. Sure enough, that night, Svechnikov got hurt, done for the playoffs. He comes in the next day, and he's like, I just lost $20 on Svechnikov. I was like, I'm sorry, man.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Can't pick them all.
No.
Okay, so the chat, this is the joinmyquiz.com. There's the code. So I'm going to go ahead and share it. And let's see. So there you guys have that. And what I'm going to do too is when for some reason with my my camera has been acting really funny, so I'm going to actually pop out and then pop back in regards while you guys are doing that. But for the most part, like I said, I think it's like a 13 or 14 question. Just do the best you guys can. It is going to be on hockey. And for the most part, some of it's not extremely hard. There might be one or two questions you might have to think about or whatever. But it comes now. How this works with joinmyquiz.com, Slapshot, is it's not like you have to be so like the first one to be done. So I mean, you want to take your time and read the answers and the questions and stuff. Because you can still finish last as far as be the last one to finish the quiz and still come in first. There's going to be power-ups. There's going to be things that you can use, like there's a redemption question. So let's say you get something wrong. It'll come back later and give you an option of a redemption question. If you only miss one, you get one redemption question. If you had three of them, it'll give you an option between 1, 2, and 3 that you want to choose. So you'll have an opportunity and you'll see how it goes. But it is something that we've been playing quite a bit in a lot of the chats. So they do enjoy it from there. So cool. But that is joinmyquiz.com, guys. It's 11:53 right now, so my time. So I'm going to give it a minute, give you guys an opportunity just to kind of get in there. Now, when you look at hockey, was there, I just kind of, between the panel, was there anybody that kind of you got an autograph from that you're like, man, oh my God, you never thought you would? And all of a sudden, maybe it was in person. Obviously in person is going to be nice. You go to a game and you get an autograph in person. Or, if you happen to go to a sports card show or something, somebody's there, memorabilia show. Was there a player that stood out for you that you were able to get autograph wise that you are obviously want to hang on to, or maybe you regret that you didn't keep it, something along those lines? Dead Zone?
Yeah, I only have one autographed hockey memorabilia, and that's Shane Doan puck.
So.
Okay. All right. Slap shot.
The coolest thing, I did get an autograph from Malkin. It was complete by accident, but we ran into him just outside the Garden, just as he was going into the game. We had gotten to the game much earlier. We got very rare tickets to see the Rangers Penguins. Dead Zone, you mentioned getting season tickets to the Coyotes. I think season tickets to the Rangers is like $8 million, so it's pretty expensive. We definitely.
I thought it was cool to be in this when they're fresh and new.
Yeah, if we could go to like one Ranger game a year, that was a big deal growing up. But yeah, we ran into Malkin, and it was kind of funny because I blurted out at the top of my lungs. I was like, "Oh my God, it's Malkin!" And sure enough, he turned, and my dad like smacked me. He was like, "It's Mr. Malkin, whatever." And anyway, he was super cool, and he came over, and I actually had some hockey cards in my back pocket just by some off chance, and he signed one of his for me, and I still have that one in a case. That's never leaving my collection.
Well, see, there you go. Always carry around some extra hockey cards. You never know who you might run into. You know what I mean? Definitely very cool. And actually on the baseball side, see, Slapshot, I actually live in Tahoe, and every year for Lake Tahoe, they have a celebrity golf tournament. And so there are, hockey players that'll come. There's football players, and there's baseball players. And the same thing, I actually had a couple of cards on me, and I met Jimmy Rollins. He was walking along the shops with his, wife, and nobody really saw him, but I noticed him. I was able to go up and just chat with him for a little bit, and I had a card on me, and he was able to sign it. So, it's always good, to have a few cards stashed away. Batman, what about you? Do you have anything? Now, I know you recently have your Batman Grail. Once again, where's your Batman Grail at? So obviously a Batman fan, but nothing as far as sports memorabilia that you've been able to.
There's a couple of things. Eric was nice enough to send me a signed postcard from Tahoe's golf of Tony Romo. So I got his signature that Eric sent off to me. I also have like replica championship rings for the Havoc. That's probably the closest thing that I have.
Now, is there one that you would, if you could have one, if you like, let's say tomorrow they were going to be at a store and you were able to go, is there a certain person that it doesn't necessarily have to be hockey, but is there a certain person that you would love to have, on your shelf?
It's really weird because I'm a Blue Jackets fan, but like Pasternak is probably like, in my opinion, the best friggin' hockey name out there. And how it's pronounced and how everybody pronounces it differently. And I think if I could have something of his with his signature on it, it would be pretty cool.
Okay.
I always like watching the Blue Jackets and them play. And he's definitely one of those guys that like me and my family always like text back and forth. Oh, this guy Pasternak again. And one of those specialty nights that I was talking about with the minor league team, they have auction night, which you can go. They have like jerseys that are signed and pictures that are signed, and it's silent auction, so you just put your name down. I haven't won any of them yet, so it's.
So Will, I know you're pretty big with memorabilia. Do you have anything on the hockey side?
Yeah, I got a signed Ray Bork jersey, and I got a team signed hockey stick from 90, I think early mid 90s and stuff like that.
Nice.
So it's like Adam Oates is on here.
Nice.
Some of them are hard to read. I think this is Donato. I think that's McCaffrey. Some of these are kind of hard to read. And funny enough that there's a couple duplicates. Like Donato's on here twice, Adam Oates is on here twice. Yeah, I got this thing back in like mid '90s or something like that. When my dad used to drive for a lot of the he worked for Yankee Line, so he drove a lot of like the sports teams, and he got this a long time ago.
Mr. TechBot, as well, I know you do collect things from time to time. Have you been able to obtain anything over the years?
I mean, as far as hockey goes, I mean, probably the only thing I've collected was I also have a Ray Bork signed jersey as well as a card from him. Met him in actually it was funny when I lived in California in San Jose. I was probably high school, and me and my buddies actually followed their team bus to the hotel after their practice before the game, and got to meet him. Thought it was real cool, and just had a lot of fun. But yeah, I was a big Ray Bork fan growing up. I'm a huge Ray Bork fan, and that's one of those things as most Boston fans, even though he went to Colorado and got a cup there, everybody can give him respect for it.
Okay. Nice. I myself last year, there was, like I said, a couple of hockey guys that came, and the one that stood out for me. I'm drawing a blank here, and I'm gonna come back to that for a second because he played for the Washington Capitals, and it was one of their big stars, number 77. You may know him.
77.
He had number 77. Oshie. Sorry, there you go. TJ Oshie. So TJ Oshie, I was able to get a jersey signed from him. So that was something I actually ended up moving it down the road, but it was nice because he took his sweet time signing it. It was on my son's back, and he just kind of just said, "Hey, some people will rush their signatures." He took his time, and so I really appreciate that. Also, Matthew, I know you collect stuff. Do you have anything hockey? Tori, do you have anything in a hockey sense?
I have a signed Islanders puck.
Oh, okay.
Or who it's by, but I think it was my parents won it in in a charity auction.
Okay.
And I got a couple of things. I think that's where I got my autographed Jake LaMotta picture. It was all in the same bundle.
Okay. Let me real quick. So Batman, you learned that pointing thing well from the master. So let's go ahead and start this quiz, guys. We'll get that going and see how everybody fares from that. So let me go ahead and start that. Now, should we do? Now I know we have the music. So just out of your thoughts, should we have the music or not?
No, that music's annoying.
Okay. Let's see. First,
I
I'm
would
gonna
have studied if I knew there was a quiz, man.
we do.
Did you study?
Yeah, there we go.
Damn, I already suck at this. Will, you better get that Bruins question right.
Taking quick.
Hey, Scoops, how are you? Christina Payne, thank you for everything that you're doing. Appreciate it.
Dana, what is up, Dana? Dana, you want to do the White Lightning challenge with me?
What's that?
I know you can't handle it, you wimp.
I ain't stupid, bro.
I've been called stupid before. It's all right. By better.
I'm not gonna eat that shit for free.
Hey, what a YouTuber does for views.
I'll wait till I'm monetized then.
What doesn't say I don't do another one when I'm monetized?
I came in second.
I'm disappointed in you, Batman, then.
It locked up on me.
It locked up?
Yeah. I froze up. That's why I dropped out and had to come back in.
Well, you can, yeah, because you can still go in there and play. Even if you can go back in. Like if you freeze, come out and then go back in. Sometimes it'll pick it up.
Yeah, I'm trying that right now, and it's just spinning.
Man, that's a good name. Whoever's in first.
Is that you, Bonehead?
It says hate us because they ain't us.
Hate us because you ain't us.
It doesn't sound right.
So we have right now, so Dead Zone, Slapshot Pops, you're still up in there. And then hate us because you ain't us.
Right.
Chara is a beast. Puck last place here. Totally Mitchin.
Oh, he is.
Corey. So it looks like they're still going, right?
I'm gonna try one more thing here.
Yeah, if you can get in, sometimes you got to do that. You got to drop out, drop back in.
Yeah.
It happens. Now, Papa Willie.
Is Matthew talking shit again?
Yeah.
Of course.
See, and y'all think I'm the big shit talker around here. It's really Matthew.
Matthew likes to stir the pot. Mama Jade, better than I thought. Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, it's just, it's not a lot of questions, so you should be able to go through them. Sometimes it happens that way. You get bumped out and you go back in.
How far did you get the first time?
6 questions in.
Okay.
I
Mr. Tepbot,
expect a lot from you, Batman.
Do what?
I expect a lot from you on this thing.
so real quick, Mr. Tepbot, just kind of ask you, do you got anything coming up this week? You got anything on your show? Anybody that you're
I'm still trying to figure out my lineup for this week. As I got kids running around the house right now. I'm sure there's going to be a
And dog.
all at the same time.
how's the getting the adjustment for the homeschool thing going?
Good. It's all ready for tomorrow. Tomorrow's the first day, so.
Okay. And your school yourself? I know. How's that going with you?
Oh, I'm finishing up my final right now.
Okay.
We had to do our final. We had to basically create a deck of cards, and I did like Avenger style deck of cards. Of course, Captain America being the king.
Oh yeah, that's the Captain America. Very beautiful right there. So, what's that? What's his name?
This is Alex.
Alex. Oh, hey Alex, how are you? How's it going, Alex?
He heard the dogs bark and he was confused.
What? How old's Alex?
He is 2.5.
2.5. All right. So you have you always been an animal dog lover, or as huskies, your thing?
Just sort of happened. Wasn't really like super planning on it, and somebody reached out to me, or I let a couple people know I was looking for a dog. I was living by myself and felt kind of lonely, so I was able to find Alex over here, and I adopted him. And a little nervous because I bought him online. Never done that before, so all my friends were joking because he came from Chicago. They were like, "You're gonna get a cat. You're definitely not getting a dog." But yeah, he showed up. He's mixed with something. We don't know what he's mixed with. He's a much smaller husky.
Now, is he kind of like temperamental? I mean, is it high maintenance with him? Is he pretty chill, low key? I know with the huskies, I've heard different stories.
He's like 95% of the time just laying down, just chilling. So he'll get his moments where he has to go out and run around or go for a walk, but he's very, very mellow, which is not what I've heard for most huskies.
Yeah, a lot of times people say they're very, very hyper, and like obviously they got to have like a huge backyard and things like that. Beautiful dog. Love huskies, love dogs. I actually had a pit boxer for about 13 years. It was really sad to let him go, but I got his paw prints and I tattooed it on my arm. So he'll always be a part of me. Obviously a big animal lover myself. So we can't have a dog that big where we are. We got a little Chihuahua, but Jack Russell Chihuahua. So
very nice.
All right, so Batman, how you doing? Let me pull. So I'll pull that up at Mr. Tepbot in a second. Let's see if I can do that now. Okay. So what do we got going on there?
All day. My deck of cards. I got my Joker, my Spider-Man, Queens of Black Widow. Of course, Captain America is my king, and Loki's my Joker.
Nice. I haven't seen that. That's cool. All right.
It's amazing what these programs can do. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. All right. So let's get to the quiz part. So you finished, Batman? Or are you still going?
You're muted.
Can't hear him. He's muted.
He's done.
I'm done.
Okay. All right. So let me go ahead and end that. Let's see real quick. All right. So You had Slapshot Pops, Dead Zone, rounding out the top three. And then
You lost me money, Slapshot. Come on.
So just to review the questions a little bit. So who is known as Mr. Hockey? Now, some of you said Gordon Howe, but it is actually Gordon.
I did that because I didn't look correctly, and I actually
I just saw the gore, and that's what I went for.
That's what I did.
But I did explain to you guys, take your time, read the questions, read the answers. And this is how we do it sometimes. There's always at least going to be one that will do something like that. Which ice hockey term is defined as the area contained between the blue lines? Yes, it is the neutral zone. It is not the twilight zone. It is the neutral zone. What team changed their name to the Arizona Coyotes for the 2014-15 NHL season? It was the Phoenix Coyotes. Singer Michael Bublé is known for his support for which hometown NHL team? It is the Vancouver Canucks. The 2014 head coach of which hockey team is Ken Hitchcock? Now, obviously, his jacket kind of gives it away a little bit.
Pretty much a giveaway.
Which Boston Bruins player drew a 15-game suspension in 2013 for aggression? Brooks Orpik, and it was Sean Thornton. That was the player there, not Brad Marchand or John Moore.
He got laid out too.
Yeah.
Who is nicknamed? I was going to put nickname, but it's a kid. Who is nicknames the Great One? And yes, we have Wayne Gretzky. Who is known as Super Mario? It is Mario Lemieux. Who is known as the Moose or the Messiah is Mark Messier. And what TV series did NHL launch in 2013 to highlight the lives of key players? And that was NHL Revealed. The other ones sound pretty good. NHL Then and Now, the NHL Tonight, but it was NHL Revealed. And the Hockey Hall of Fame is located where? And that is in Toronto. Toronto is where it is located. Which hockey team? We talked about it earlier. Which hockey team has won the most titles?
I still heard that one up.
Now the thing is you could say won the most titles in the United States. Yes, is Detroit, but outside is Montreal. Who won the Stanley Cup in 2017? And that was the Penguins. The Penguins, I believe, played the Sharks for that. So that is your 13.
The Jackets have never won a Stanley Cup.
No, they haven't.
Now,
sorry,
we can barely get out of the first round of the playoffs, let alone.
Now, I wanted to mention, when you look at hockey, there are teams that, unfortunately, they've never had the number one draft pick. When you look to build your team and you're looking to take draft picks, there's some teams out there that have never had the opportunity, such as like the Sharks, the Minnesota Wild, Calgary, Vancouver, Anaheim, Carolina, Hartford, those teams, are looking to get that elusive cup and to build a strong team. Now, the Sharks have put on, in years past, good presence on the ice with some of their teams they've had. Now, was it a surprise to you last year with the recipients, of the cup and the playoffs in the championship game? Slapshot, being a hockey fan, did you enjoy last year's championship?
It was good. I think I was more excited for the prior year with the Vegas run. I think that just had a lot more storyline behind it. So then, what did we have? St. Louis last year. I don't even remember who they played now. I mean, it was interesting, but it wasn't. They played Boston. Is that what happened? They played Boston.
It was the we just went over that. It was Penguins.
Well, Penguins won in 2016, 2017. Caps won in 2018. St. Louis won last year. I think St. Louis played Boston in the final, right?
St. Louis. Yeah, St. Louis played Boston. Yes.
Yeah, so that was exciting. I mean, I was rooting for Boston, so I wasn't really thrilled, and I didn't really care much about St. Louis. But I mean, they were a good team. They worked really hard. I mean, it was cool to see. I mean, it's cool to see every team, win a cup, each year because there's just so much heart, and especially now with the playoffs being so long, it'll be cool in like 2 months to see whoever wins the cup after all this. Especially going through the shortened season, then the lockout, then the qualifier, and now the 4 rounds of playoffs. So every year is exciting.
Now, obviously, you look at the cup and the elusive cup itself. Let me go ahead real quick and see if I can find that picture because I know I have it.
Oh, this is for Matthew because of his last comment.
Well, so obviously, the cup, the Stanley Cup, you got Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, believe it or not, there is 3 different versions of the cup. They have one that I've heard about that. So, Batman, do you know anything in regards with the cups? Because I know there's at least 12 spelling errors, that come onto the cup, such as like the New York Islanders is spelled without the S, so it's Ilanders. The 72 Bruins are spelled BQSTQN. They misplaced the O on that. So there has been some spelling errors, with the cup. Anything that you can tell me about? I know there's 3 different versions from what I heard. Anything that you might know?
Not offhand, no.
Okay. Dead zone, slap shots. Anything you might have heard of? They have 3. So they have what I've been told is, I believe, it's like a perfect version. So they have like a perfect cup, and then there's a cup, I guess, that the teams that win get to use, and then obviously they have an error misspelling type cup, because back in the days when people would get the cup, they would hang on to it until the next season. Well, there was a team that had won the cup, and they took it to a bonfire. And so the bonfire, the cup got burned, like accidentally. And so they had, I believe it was Toronto that had that. They basically, it was the Toronto Maple Leafs. They celebrated, with the bonfire, and they had to pay to have it repaired. So
I said that trailer sucked.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, what do when you look at the cup and how it goes exchange, it's not like in baseball. I mean, it's a different type of unique situation. I mean, the players, GMs, a lot of people get to hang on to the cup. So I always thought that was pretty cool. Just kind of looking at.
You got to also talk about the Kraken.
What do we got with the Kraken?
Those jerseys are ugly.
The Kraken is going to be the newest NHL team next year, Seattle Kraken.
Oh, okay. So let me go ahead and see if I can pull that up. Thank you very much.
It doesn't even flow right.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds horrible. That is horrible.
And the jerseys
Seattle Starbucks.
Yeah, she made him the Seattle Starbucks.
Should have used the Funko
Seattle Starbucks
logo.
Let's see here.
Please tell me that's not the first time you saw that trailer.
That is the first time I saw that trailer.
Oh my gosh, I've watched it like 30 times already.
I may have to watch it again, but I'm sorry, but Pattinson looks horrible, dude.
Yeah, I don't. It looks different, and
it looks like Twilight meets Batman. I'm sorry, but it does.
Because you only know Robert Pattinson from Twilight.
Come on, man! The look of him coming up in his look—it's the same exact look he gave.
It's not his fault. He just naturally looks like a vampire as a human. So.
I watched him in the circus movie.
So now, obviously, we're talking about the Batman trailer. We'll get to that in a quick second. But real quick, since Dead Zone, there's the Seattle Kraken. So you have the eye. I don't know. What do you guys take of that?
The
That
logo,
looks like a snake. That looks like the snake from the Disney movie almost.
from Aladdin or something. No, Jungle Book.
It looks like I just
Yeah.
threw that thing together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that looks like shit.
And
Hey, did
It might
they
not
say
be-
they hired the same artist that redid the Browns logos?
Now, obviously, Seattle is a good, would you say, that's a good sports town. They've obviously had some hardships, obviously, they've succeeded with football. Do you think that this is a right choice, having Seattle, come in as a hockey town? I mean, do you think the fan base is going to be there? Your feelings on hockey in Seattle?
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. It's hard to say. It's hard to say because you wouldn't think that Las Vegas would have such a big following. I mean,
well, Las Vegas is easy though. I mean, you just got a huge amount of people that are there just to watch
Just to
stuff.
be
But I mean,
Actually, I will say something with Vegas. I lived in Vegas for 5 years before I moved out here to Florida, and that town was itching for years for a team. That's why anytime there's one of those off football leagues, the UFL, the XFL, they always got a team. Because when we went to, I remember when UFL was around, that second season, man, that place was packed. People want a team in Vegas. And so I was surprised that when they got the nights that they weren't busy.
well, now they got Oakland, or they have the Raiders, but
yeah, but that's like a consolation prize.
from the Knights, yeah.
All right, guys, calm down. All right. So just kind of want to touch bases a little bit. I know, like I said, we usually do our streams, and sometimes we got things that hold us up, and I didn't want to keep everybody for a huge long time. Like I said, Slapshot, I really appreciate you being on today. But what I wanted to bring on the fact that Dead Zone mentioned the Kraken. Some of these teams, like the San Jose Sharks, they were almost named the Rubber Puckies. They were called also possible the Screaming Squids and the Salty Dogs. They were also going to choose the Blades, the San Jose Blades, and they almost
I like
went
the
with
Salty Dogs.
Yeah, I mean they almost went with the Blades. But yeah, I mean, so you got the Salty Dogs, San Jose Salty Dogs, but the Blades ended up being a stronger choice, but they didn't want to go there because they felt like with violence and tying in with the Bay Area and stuff, like they kind of shied away from that. Obviously, they went with the Sharks, but Slapshot, you are obviously a huge fan of when we deal with where he's at. These guys right here with these trying to pull him up. Where is that helmet? I love that helmet. Not the Joker one, but where is that one helmet?
At least they used that Joker and not the crappy one from Joaquin Phoenix.
The
that
Joaquin
Joker was
Phoenix
terrible.
one. But yeah, basically, like I said, let me.
I think the sun's been rotting the brain.
All right. We touched on the movies. Like obviously, we all agree with Miracle being number one. I wanted to allude to you being here today, Slapshot, and just say thank you so much. That's why I did put Slapshot as number one. But thank you for the hockey knowledge. Thank you for coming on and celebrating hockey with us, the playoffs that are going on. Just giving us some insight in regards. So it means a lot, and you're always welcome here. Anytime we do any type of hockey, you're always more than welcome to be a part of the show. So thank you for taking the time out of your day.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys for having me on.
Well, what's just to kind of head out, and let the fans know, if you guys have an opportunity, he does have Instagram, he does have YouTube. I do believe that is being linked in the chat. Usually Christina is on that. What do you have going on this week with your show? Anything that we should know about? Exciting? What's going on?
Well, you don't have to wait too long. We actually have game night every Sunday night now. So we'll be doing bingo night tonight on my channel. And every Sunday night we do a segment on my channel called The Collector's Crease, where we talk about a certain theme or certain character. So tonight, for instance, we're talking about Spider-Man. And I'm going to have a few guests on the show, and we highlight other people's collections. And if there's other YouTubers that can come on, we highlight their channels and stuff. And then while that's going on, we have our viewers play bingo, and we're giving away some pretty cool Spider-Man prizes. So if you guys are looking to play some games, a lot of people have given us some good feedback. They're able to play with their kids while they're watching the stream. And then during the week, we just have we got some mystery box videos. Tomorrow, I have a DC Funko Pops on the Rise video dropping, just to recap, the weekend with all the DC stuff that dropped. And then, we got all kinds of great stuff. We have Funko Worldwide. If you guys haven't seen our news segment every Saturday night, so definitely go check that out. I have a crazy twin brother with a mustache. So
that sounds like a lot of fun, a lot of great stuff. So definitely make sure you guys check out Slapshot Pops. A lot of cool stuff in there. And then I know LBD is a huge Spider-Man fan. So if LBD you get a chance, you should check that out. Definitely, once again, thank you so much for being here, being part of the show. You enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we look forward to seeing you around and seeing you in your shows.
Yeah, thanks, Eric. I'm looking forward to getting to know everybody better.
All right, you guys, anything that you guys want to add? Anybody? Plans? Any questions? All right. Thank you so much, and we will see you around. We look forward to seeing your shows.
Thanks, Eric. I'll see you guys soon.
All right. And so, like I said, when you look at hockey, what it brings, the playoffs, the style, the grit, the hammering, the boards. What do you think, Mr. Tedbod? When you look at the sports, all the sports, I mean, obviously baseball is great in the playoffs. There's a lot of drama, but there's nothing that matches the intensity with the hockey for baseball as much, because they're not. Sure, you got a few fights, you got some shouting at each other, some throwing the balls a little bit. Football, a little bit different. You got the intensity there, but would you say that hockey, hands down, when it comes to playoffs and the game itself, what it brings to the table with the fights and the crashing of the boards and the hits, there's.
I don't know. It really all depends on what you're into for the most part, what you get out of it. Because, I know for me, a lot of, I'm a sports fan to begin with, but a lot of times I'm also a true fan of whatever team I am. And to be honest with you, say the Bruins aren't playing in the playoff, guess what? I'm not paying attention much to the rest of the playoffs. To me, I'm on to the next sport personally. But, it all depends. But, yeah, there's a lot of intensity. Baseball playoffs is different because there's a lot more, I think, strategy involved a lot of times in that. Whereas, football playoffs is to a different level because that's a one game, win or go home type thing. Whereas at least in hockey, baseball, and basketball, you have to win a series to get where you need to go. But it all depends on really what you're into, and also, especially if your team's in the playoffs, it brings a whole new intensity to it.
Yeah. And too, that hockey is such a completely different game than football is. You got running routes, but hockey is back up and down the ice, and there's more. You have to set up the shot. It's not like the quarterback has the ball and he throws it into one spot. It's apples and oranges. And
yeah. And some people like the strategy part of baseball and stuff. It's slower pace. Some people like the slower pace. Some people can't handle the speed because they don't know what's going on, and it's hard for people to read what's going on when everything is going so fast. So,
well, what about? Well, yeah, everything's going really fast. but you also have, okay, what about, I mean, you get into the playoffs and hockey, like it's a do or die situation. You're in overtime, so whichever next goal wins, I mean, that's it. Like, I mean, so, I mean, you get a lot of intensity, a lot of fast skate, any little instance, the puck can put in the right position to score. So your thoughts about, how the hockey system is with the playoffs, because there is a lot of overtime games, when you get to the playoffs.
I mean, with any sport, though, one thing about hockey is that you can really see it in the players in those intense times, because it's a faster kind of game. I mean, so in other instances, you don't see as much intensity as at the end of games where there's everything's on the line. So I just think that it's for the most part, I mean, just if you go to like a minor league game, it's super intense on those games. And the difference is because those guys are so hungry all the time to make it to the next level that you get to see some really, really good stuff. So if you talk about the playoffs, go to a minor league or an AHL game that with teams that it's a close game. It's super intense, just like a playoff game. So I've only been to a playoff game that was a minor league team. So, but I mean, it's intense like that a lot in the AHL. So I don't know about the baseball or football. I've never been to a baseball game before, so I don't know.
As a whole, what regardless of the sport, I mean, playoff games are going to be playoff games, and it's going to be. I mean, if you're into it, then it. I mean, just the crowd alone in some of the football stadiums or the baseball stadiums during these playoff games are. I mean, it brings a whole nother level to it, just like in hockey. I mean, it's.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely with baseball. I mean, being able to win in the bottom of the seventh inning, in a playoff game, just having situations that pop up. I mean, each sport provides that. But the one thing that hockey does provide that's kind of interesting is they actually have their own mascots in the form of actual penguins. So the Pittsburgh Penguins, they used a real life mascot named Pete. And he was a loner from the Pittsburgh Zoo, and he actually had his own skates. So obviously in hockey, you do have that that element, which is always a fun thing. Other than that, there's some other things that were kind of interesting. Numbers. Now you look at Gretzky. Gretzky was number 99. Which obviously in sports is kind of crazy. But there actually was a number 0. So a number 0, this player, Neil Sheehy of the Hartford Whalers, after he was traded from Calgary, he did wear the number 0. So, you know what I mean? So, I mean, your thoughts on some of the numbers, in sports, like Gretzky having 99. Is there a favorite number for you guys, What are we doing?
Sorry. We're having we're going back and forth in the chat right now.
All right.
That back and forth thing with Matthew. Matthew's starting something he can't finish over here.
You ain't cheating, you're not trying.
Sorry.
No, I mean, that's fine. I just want to make sure I'm kind of up to speed. But like I said, when you talk about numbers in sports, number 99, Gretzky, what are some numbers that, do you have a favorite number, whether it be baseball, football? I mean, is there something like for me, I've always liked number 8, number 8 has always been one of my numbers. Sean, if you have a
over here,
what number?
77 is what I've always gone with.
77.
I mean, 23 right off the bat, but I mean, that's just the real GOAT. I mean, Michael Jordan himself, but I've always been partial to like 17 or 42. I can't tell you why, but it's
Well, 42 is a good baseball number. What about Matthew? Do you have a favorite number? And Tori, your number?
I mean, I like 23.
Okay.
And
y'all sheep.
great numbers. One.
The bandwagon.
Bandwagon fans.
4, 5, 7, 9.
Dead Zone, do you like it? You have a certain number that stands out more than the other?
Number 11.
Number 11. Okay, that's a good number too. So the other thing I thought was kind of interesting with hockey, and I was finding the facts, but in 1980, the Oilers and the Maple Leafs almost swapped cities, as Toronto would have moved into Edmonton's new arena, and the Oilers, the Maple Leaf Gardens. So Gretzky would have been in Toronto. It's kind of funny how that comes about, but like you wouldn't see that a lot, in some of the sports, but it seems like hockey has some interesting facts, when it comes to stuff like that. What would be your thoughts on that? So if Boston all of a sudden says, you know what, we're going to make a deal. We're moving to a different city. They're going to move here. We're going to swap cities. I mean,
That's
That
just
would never happen.
you use a completely different team, a team that doesn't matter. But Boston, first of all, you're never going to get away from the original six. The original six are always going to be the original six, and so you got to use like a side team. I mean, not to say nothing, but you got to use someone like the Coyotes.
Coyotes is going nowhere. They're getting too popular now.
What about so the other thing that was kind of interesting about hockey also is they actually did it. They did a trade. So a trade for front office personnel. A GM got traded for a left winger in 1999. So left winger Rob Zamur of Tampa Bay Lightning was traded to Ottawa, and they had the rights to the GM, and the GM actually agreed to move on in that direction. So I thought that was kind of interesting. I mean, is that something that is only going to happen in hockey? I mean, for the most part, they seem to own some of the interesting facts when it comes to sports. Because
Baseball did the GM thing too.
Yeah.
I think baseball did.
Theo Epstein.
okay, they made the trade, right? That was the trade with the Cubs. The Cubs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, did we mention the Cubs? I can't remember.
no, it doesn't matter. They don't matter anyway.
But basically, just having the rights and negotiating, was kind of interesting. Now, with the Stanley Cup, like I said, there is 3 versions. There was the Presentation Cup, there's the Dominion Hockey Cup, and there's the Permanent Cup that has spelling corrected. But the NHL doesn't own the cup. They actually use it from permission from Canadian trustees of the cup, which is kind of funny because they have a trademark. The NHL has trademarks associated with names of the cup, but they don't actually own the cup. So, I mean, I thought that was kind of interesting. Here it is, the NHL. You talk about the cup, but other companies, other people, trustees own that. And obviously the cup, it weighs in at 34.5 pounds. It is 35.25 inches high. So that elusive cup that everybody wants and chases after. Unfortunately, they do have to fight for it. And let me go ahead real quick, pull this up.
Boom! Oh man. Whoa.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. Oh man, I saw that. Whoops.
All right. So obviously, hockey has some great hits. It's a great game for contact intensity. There's a lot that goes on with that. I know those guys after their season, they probably just want to curl up on the couch and just hibernate. So you're just wanted to give final thoughts on hockey. We'll kind of close it out and what you guys have got going on. We'll be popping. I know you said your phone died. If you're able to get an opportunity to come back in, I was going to ask you a question. But just your thoughts on hockey in general and what's going on with you. So, Dead Zone. What do you got going on this week?
Dead Zone was deep in his thoughts.
I will be doing my second video. So I'm doing the collector's swap too. So I got to do another video for that.
Oh yeah, I got to do that too.
So do you have something in mind that you're orchestrating, or is it going to be kind of similar a little bit, or is it just kind of you haven't really just like you're gonna have something surprising in there? I mean, that last video you did was awesome. Great work on that.
I think one you should take a helicopter.
I don't have anything planned for that one, so I don't know. We'll see kind of what happens and see how much time I have. I don't have a lot of time to do a bunch of stuff right now. I'm working on multiple projects at the same time work, so I'm working on a full house remodel right now, and then I'm bouncing around doing all my other regular handyman stuff that I usually do weekly. So yeah, I'm super stacked with work right now. So I'll just have to do my best.
Any other recent unboxings that you discovered? Like any grails or anything recently that obviously I know a lot of times you can't get to your unboxings as much because you are very busy. But anything that you opened up recently and you're like, oh wait, check this out.
Well, I opened a Toy USA, a $60 Toy USA live. I'm not sure, about a week ago or something like that, and it was from January, and there was a Freddy in there.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Got this guy.
Oh, nice.
That was in a $60 Toy USA box from January 20th or something like that. But I did rearrange my my closet. I got all my boxes organized now. I was able to pick up a Pop King Paul box last night too, so that'll be coming.
Did they announce when we're supposed to be dropping that collectible swap?
Because I don't think everybody's got all their stuff.
Because I haven't even opened up my box yet.
Tomorrow, Mr. Tedbot, it's going to go at 9 a.m.
Oh, you guys see
holy shit.
Yeah, I think there's still a couple of people that are still waiting on some things too.
Here's my box. This is how my box came too.
Oh my God. Hey, hold on,
Nice.
Dead Zone. Hold on, let me get that pulled up real quick.
I'm hoping it's good. I'm not going to show the top, but yeah, it came a little bit weird. But we'll see what's in it.
Damn.
Yeah, I have no idea who sent me mine yet. I haven't even opened it. It's been in the closet.
I'll see if I can show you my closet. You guys will love this.
You got a whole bunch of stuff in
closer to it. So I rearranged my closet, right?
Holy shit.
Lord, man.
Whoa.
All right.
Dead zone. Open box, bro.
You still got a Black Widow collector core in there?
Oh, that one's open, but
So
I just have to put it somewhere, you know.
So that months on the Bands for Arms boxes.
What's that?
You have to you buy Bands for Arms and you have to wait a couple months for them to be delivered.
There's Bands for Arms in there. We're still waiting for Mother's Day boxes too, because my wife is going to be doing Battle with Mama J and a couple other people, so we're waiting on those.
Yeah, that's gonna be coming up soon too.
Yeah, that's why the battles with those boxes are hard, because you just sort of, especially if you buy a lot of boxes from him, they just come at random times.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Matthew to come over to help me open some boxes, by the way.
So Batman, I know, like I said, you always seen you working quite a bit. You support a lot. You know, I mean, you do your things on Instagram. You know, anything new that you got going on? Anything that you'd like to tell us about? For the most part, you're just going to do with Batman. Well, let's real quick talk about your guys' so-called the trailer, the Batman trailer. So I wanted to get your opinion, Batman, an actual Batman fan for so many years. Batman is all you have. What is your thoughts on that trailer? Because I just want to say, you know, I wasn't really happy with, you know, at the end where he's got the black around his eyes and, you know, the long hair, you know, I mean, that part of it, I kind of didn't really take to very much. I was listening for the voice, you know, obviously when he made that vengeance, that voice, you know, sounded pretty good. I'm just waiting to see more of the trailers to kind of get an attestment, but your thoughts on everything in there. I mean, I think we saw Catwoman, you know, what'd you see? What did you like?
So it was more of a like darker feel to it. I mean, obviously like that ominous, really dark and kind of mysterious, like it, I mean, I liked it because I mean, like the Michael Keaton, like way back when, if you look at the trailer for like Michael Keaton's Batman's, it was really dark and like it was. I mean, there was a lot of innuendos within the trailer or within the movie. I'm with you. I haven't seen a lot yet. I need to see more. I don't really like the Batmobile, to be completely honest.
Why would you want to see more? It's trash. It's like he's trying to be Christian Bale. He's trying to be Christian Bale in like every Batman combined.
Actually, the worst part about that was him talking. Him trying to talk with between a Christian Bale and a Michael Keaton type sound. It was horrible. I mean, it's horrible. And then his every look he has. I swear to God, I'm gonna find an image and compare his looks compared to Twilight, and it's exactly the same.
No, he looked like the circus movie. He looked like the circus movie too, in some of those eyes that he had.
Yeah. Like maybe the Nightwing, a little bit of Nightwing resemble. I think, with all fairness, I think they kind of wanted to rush something in there, you know, with what's going on, and sometimes the first you know layer is not always going to be the final layer. You know, this could have been made, you know, a while back, you know, and obviously with the COVID stuff, it's hard to get people on the lots and, you know, the production crews and, you know, so I know a lot goes into the trailers and everything. So
what they're building into with this though is more of a Batman Beyond esque Batman, because Flashpoint's coming out. Michael Keaton is going to be Batman. and then Ben Affleck is also making an appearance.
The only thing DC that even remotely looks like it could be actually something is the Snyder Cut.
No, Wonder Woman 84, bro. Like, if you
I don't know. I wasn't sold on Wonder Woman to begin with. It was an all right movie, but it wasn't that great.
Man, like, watch the trailer. It sucks you in, and I've watched that a couple of times too. And I still think that, I mean, DC's getting like hate because they can't make a good movie, and I don't disagree with that. But
I'll give it though. That Snyder Cut, I saw the trailer today. It looks
it's
as much as I bash Justice League, the movie itself, the Snyder Cut could redeem it a little bit.
But it's the same movie. Like, the only difference between that and the Snyder Cut is basically a couple of clips that they basically injected into the movie. That's, I mean, it's not a whole brand new different, like.
No, but a better perspective and less CGI could be something very well done. I mean, like I said, the trailer itself, compared to the two trailers, between the original Justice League trailer and this one, I mean, it's night and day. And mind you, this is coming from a diehard Marvel fan. I want to see the Snyder Cut.
Well, I don't put too much stock in, like, I don't think it's going to change much of the movie, to be honest. Like, it's going to have like better sequences and better scenes in it because of his version, but it's still going to be the same type.
So now, is a Flashpoint movie that's going to be tied in after the Batman? Basically, so the Batman's going to deal with a lot of their rogues gallery. Now, is Batman going to be in that movie as well with the Flashpoint? So the guy that's
I know right now the contract is 3 movies with.
Flashpoint's only going to be good if they get rid of Ezra Miller.
I think they are.
Ezra Miller is horrible. You can't say he's not.
Yeah, that's what they were talking about, because Ezra Miller was like on his way out, and then he was like, well, I'll do, if I can do my own story, I'm back in. And they were sort of like giving him, like, you know, because.
But it's the same kind of concept with like the Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix. Like, everybody hates on that movie. You have to, with that movie, you have to totally separate from what you know of the Joker and watch the movie itself. Like, it was totally different.
I agree. I tried to, and when I watched that movie, I tried to take everything out. I think it was still garbage, personally.
I think people.
I'm not a huge Joaquin Phoenix fan to begin with, so I think that's probably part of it.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is with hopefully DC can get the right formula and present something that fans are going to enjoy. I don't know if that happens with these movies or not. Just from seeing the trailer, I wasn't too impressed. But at the same time, nobody really thought Heath Ledger could do a Joker, and he performed it and did it. So, I guess once the movie's finally cut and made, the assessments can begin. Because, even again, like Justice League, when the trailer came out, I thought, for the most part, it was going to look pretty good. And then you go and watch it and you kind of, are like, what happened? But, just to kind of move in it, with that direction, of comics and stuff. Hopefully we'll see what happens with the Batman.
And it's not, and as a DC Batman fan, I don't see it yet. I don't see, like, when they made the first Iron Man with Marvel, you knew it was going somewhere.
You knew that was a hit. The moment you watched that, and especially the moment you even saw him come out of that cave, you knew that Marvel had a hit on their hands.
Yep.
Point blank.
I haven't seen that from Batman or even a Wonder Woman yet.
And the post-credit scene, you knew something. It was leading to something.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Something bigger, something much bigger.
But
that's the problem with Batman.
But DC doesn't have that. Like, I don't think it.
Well, they did struggle a little bit with the Hulk. They tried to make the Hulk into a feature film. And unfortunately, it just didn't go the way that they wanted it to. And he is a sidekick, I mean, he's just going to be one of these guys. Maybe they can turn it around and make a solo movie. I don't know, but
but which Hulk are we talking about? The Eric Bana or the Robert Norton or the Edward Norton? I'm sorry.
But in my opinion, Edward Norton was I liked Edward Norton as.
I actually did not hate the Edward Norton version. The only reason he never continued on was because he was too difficult to work with.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, I mean, and there was cases where Marvel did have issues with actors and they moved on. Look at Terrence Howard in Iron Man. They moved on from that as well.
Oh, that was a contract thing.
But that's the thing is like they have no problem going in and replacing, with characters. But even if he does continue on, do you think that Hulk movie attained enough to say, you know what, it was solid? I mean, would you put, is it going to be a top 10 for Marvel? Probably not. It's not going to be. But I mean, it would be nice if they could get that correct, and we'll see how that works. So, Tori, you basically, congratulations once again with your show on JB. If you guys get a chance, check out the Rewind. Tori had an interview with Jay on the JB show. What have you got going on? What's new with you? Like anything in your direction going on for the coming week?
Just the same stuff really. Videos. I'm gonna do another episode next week of the comic book show that I didn't do yesterday because I was away and I wasn't able to pick up anything. And I'm thinking about starting like a collectibles auction show where they have their comic books auctions and sometimes they have pops thrown in. But, there's nothing really, at least in our community, that's on YouTube that encompasses everything. Comics, pops.
That's an awesome idea because I know the comic book community tried to do that with pops and tried to bring in certain people to sell pops, and it was really tough, and I don't think they really planned it out. I think
I think the problem is that the comic book side, there's very few people that are into pops.
But we're getting there. Those people are starting to buy more and more pops and more.
Right. What I'm saying is at first it was hard. Maybe now if they started to do it, more people would. And it's also they're still focused on certain the comic books.
Yep.
So
it also is a lot of the times when those things were going on, it was low end. I mean, it was common stuff that you can just go out to the store and buy that they're putting up there. You gotta put something up there that people actually want to bid on. That is something that is a little bit harder to get,
but I think with the comic
with it, do it as
you have to go after that kind of comic book esque pop. It's not just a that they've read a comic for 10 years and they want this certain one that looks a certain way or anything venomized. I mean, it.
Right, they're not gonna want a TV pop or a movie pop. They're gonna want, you could sell. I think you could probably sell them Saga pops.
Yeah.
But, other than that, it's just DC and Marvel.
Yeah. Well,
okay. But so basically, I'm trying to get for some reason, I'm having issues. Remember how the other day, Batman, you were having issues at work with your camera? You know, like, yeah, I mean, this is kind of what I keep going out and coming back in, but it's just not, it's not reading it properly, or just, I don't know, it's kind of weird.
Like I was in the office last night and it was doing it to me.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm trying to get that going, but, so Will, once again, you know, coming off last week, you know, what do you got going on into this week? I know you had a Sonny the Cuckoo pool, I believe, something along those lines, right?
Yep. Spoiler: if you order Mother's Day boxes, this is no longer in the boxes. I apologize to people that are hanging on to them.
He sometimes throws multiples in there.
Oh yeah, you never know.
Yeah, it could be up to like maybe 2 or 3 of the same one is a possibility. But there were still some pretty good hits heading out in those boxes. So what do you got going on for the week?
I got my a Funko Shop haul dropping tomorrow, and not tomorrow, Tuesday, excuse me. And I'm kind of torn between which. I have 2 other videos filmed already. I'm just not sure which ones I want to put up on Thursday. And basically, within the next couple of weeks, I got 24 of the Bands for Arms. So I'll be doing 12 icons and 12 Marvel eventually. Just a whole bunch of hauls and other things like that. It's just never ending. So, but I'm looking forward to getting into these 2 Bands for Arm boxes because I'm excited after all the nice hits I pulled out of the Mother's Day. I'm excited to see what I get because these 2 are the original ones that I wanted the most because I was shooting for the Flock Tony the Tiger and the Glow Captain America and the Mass Winter Soldier. So I'm hoping that I can just keep the streak going and pull some fire pops out of these boxes. So fingers crossed I get lucky, but if not, everything goes to charity anyway. So I'm happy either way. So.
Well, you know, Bands for Arm boxes, you know, we do, they're great causes, great boxes. We will, you know, have to wait for them, and that's not a problem. We've always, you know, been okay with that. You did have to wait for certain boxes, though. For example, I believe I sent a box to you. And it took from California to Boston. Now, I had sent this out to go to you before your live, and I had sent it out that previous Monday. And it took 10 days to reach Will in regards. And, you know, I don't have a problem, you know, with if you wanted to open it today, you'd be more than welcome to do that. It's always at your discretion how I wasn't sure exactly how you felt or what you wanted to do. But I also at the same time was like, you know, it was 10 days. I mean, hey, you know, if you want to open that box, you know, I would enjoy that. That's fine. If you want to do it, if you want to do a good, you know, the video was fine too. But I figured since we are both on, I figured since we're both on the live, you know, and it's been 10 days, you know, if you would like to do that, why don't we open that puppy up?
All right. Give me a second. I gotta go grab it.
Yeah. And let me go to Mr. TechBot.
Yo.
So what with your school, you know, I want to, for people who don't know, you know, what is it that you're going to school for again? Like what is, you know, you're attaining here?
I've decided to go back to school just to get a degree. And my actual degree is for a bachelor's in applied technologies with a minor certificate in graphic design. So I'm doing the graphic design part right now. Learning more Photoshop and Illustrator and stuff like that, which is fantastic. Especially it helps out with the YouTube stuff, you know, and be able to learn how to make some different things. I know you might have noticed throughout my time, my thumbnails started changing a little bit more after I learned Photoshop a little bit. Trying to play around with those a little bit more, you know, get interested with them. But it's fun. It's the school I do. It's all online. And they're 7-week classes, so I mean it's really rushed. That's the only thing is you got to do a lot in a quick amount of time.
Okay, so with your pops, I mean as far as like your logos and stuff, and I know it's you know Mr. TechBot and stuff, but I always thought it'd be kind of cool like if you did a variant. You know how comic books have variants. If you did
the logo.
yeah, of Captain America, especially now that you're getting into designs and stuff like that, I don't know. I thought it'd be kind of cool.
Here's my logo, Chris.
That's been a lot of conversation that Wayne and I have both had. He personally hates my logo, and I've had something what's funny is I think I've said it before, but a lot of people don't realize is when I started the YouTube journey, I had a friend of mine make me up that logo, and what's funny is that face that's actually in it is actually my friend's face. And we were supposed to take a picture of mine and put it in there. Well, it just never happened. And I just liked the image too much that I just decided to go with it. So it's still his face in there. And but we created because again, I didn't start out doing collectibles. I started out as a tech review channel. That's what I was enjoying doing. Then I quickly realized it takes a lot of funds to keep up with the tech industry. So I decided to pivot a little bit and get into some collectibles and stuff like that, because I always liked doing different collectibles in the past, and going with the. And what's funny is my buddy called it. He's like, why don't you do a nerd channel? And so that's what I always kind of called it. It was a nerd channel.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and like Mark, he's got the nerd bar. It's always funny with some of the things that he does. Now, if you start becoming monetized, your friend might say, hey, that logo there's, you got to kind of kick some my way, No,
we're a long time friend. We've already talked about that a little bit. He doesn't care. He just did it because he enjoyed doing it. Okay. To be honest with you.
So let me go ahead. So Will, I mean, like I said, it was 10 days. I definitely, like I said, I just wanted to just send something. Will recently celebrated 150 subscribers on his live. A lot of you guys
200.
know Will.
200.
250.
He did
200, 250. It was a good time anyway.
He creeped in there at the finish line. But the thing is we had a lot of people there, a lot of fun, and congratulations with that. Ever since you kind of bursted on the scene, even though you are a Red Sox fan, and I don't know if Mr. TechBot, if you got a chance to see, but we did find Will with a Yankees hat. Papa Willie was able to find that. But I also I didn't know if you saw this also from the beginning as well, Mr. TechBot, when you came in. But
1 second, I'll be right back.
Yeah, let me show you this real quick.
His Yankees hat.
I don't have that on here, but I need to find it. But there you go, Mr. TechBot. Good old what Brady's going to look like in the
I saw it. I didn't pay attention to
it. But definitely, when you look at that overall, like I said, with hockey, just to kind of wrap it up, now that some of the teams are starting to move into the next rounds, and you've seen some of the games to play, Batman, is there a favorite? Do you see something emerging? A team getting hot? What do you see with the next rounds?
Of what?
For hockey, the hockey playoffs.
Honestly, I watched like one game, I think, the playoffs after my team was out, which kind of sucks. But
right,
I really like what Lightning's doing. I mean, no offense to like the Bruins, but they're playing them next, and they were really close last year. But I think it's a toss-up between everybody. I just don't want to, like, no offense to anybody in Canada, I just don't want a Canadian team winning.
So you have the interesting matchups, like you have Colorado and Dallas matching up. You have the Vegas Golden Knights in Vancouver, coming through. So definitely, some interesting matchups. Got the Islanders and Philly, and obviously Tampa Bay and Boston. So out of those there, who do you see kind of like, is there a favorite? Do you think Vegas Golden Knights might emerge through.
I don't think they can get past Canucks. I don't think they can do it.
Yeah, they will. It's going to be. It'll be. My guess is going to be Vegas and the Lightning.
Vegas,
Boston, boo.
Vegas and the Lightning.
I definitely think Lightning has the potential. If you're picking a dark horse, you pick the Avalanche. You pick Colorado.
Avalanche is tough. They're super speedy, and they spin you around when they get down in their into the opponent's zone. Then they start spinning you.
Yep.
Then that's it. You're done. But
it's a good matchup with Dallas. So I mean, it's gonna be interesting. You got a lot of teams in there. That second round is gonna be very important to just kind of see how it goes. Do you see any possible? So I mean, you got a number 9 seed playing a number 2 seed, against the Golden Vegas Knights. Do you see any possible, upsets in that regards? Like, do you think Vancouver, is able to stay with Golden Knights, or you think it's going to be a pretty walk in the park?
I don't think the Golden Knights are going to make it through, to be honest. Okay. I mean, they're a solid team, but I think it's just too much.
All their players are producing now. That's the one thing.
Right now. Yeah, but
all their players are scoring. They're putting points up,
and they're in the second round now. And that's
where the Canucks aren't doing it as much. So
yeah,
but I mean it's a series.
Will, how are you?
They will learn a little bit once they start playing. So we'll see what happens. But I still think it's going to be Vegas.
Well, a lot of people, it'll be interesting to see the second round, how it shapes up. Some people, the Flyers and the Islanders will be a good matchup. So Average Will says, let's go Bolts. So Mr. TechBot says that if he gets 100 Patreons.
Well, there's a little bit of background with this one. We had a live this week, and both Wynn and I kind of announced this Patreon that we started, or Patreon that we started, and it's mainly we only started it so that way we can. It's basically just crowdfunding to get better giveaway items, because that's what the Patreon goes. But Wayne, they got on him about, because there's a long running joke with Wayne about a glowworm, and when we were talking about the possible New York Comic-Con items, one of the items in there, as possible, was a Oscar Mayer Wiener mobile. So I thought it was cool, and then so everyone started saying in the chat that, hey, because Wayne was saying if he gets 100 patrons, he'll put a glowworm, a tattoo of a glowworm, and nobody said where we had to put it, but and I don't necessarily. This is probably the first time I actually agreed to do it. That if I get 100, I will actually get a Oscar Mayer Wiener tattoo on my foot.
Well, or maybe you can maybe number 100 will get a choice of where that goes.
We'll see.
What's the number at now?
1. We just started it.
Okay. All right. So we'll be popping. Like I said, I definitely I figured since we are on the show, if you wanted to open it up, because I just wanted to, I thought it was something you were going to open up on the live anyways, and it was 10 days. So I just wanted to, just kind of say, thanks again for, the support, that you provide in the community, the friendships that you have built, the people that you've come in contact with. It's not just a 1 day thing, 1 week thing, 1 month thing. These are friends for life. I mean, these are people that, we obviously, we love you, Will. We love you like a brother. We love giving you a hard time. We love the fact that you're able just to say it like it is. You have no problem giving a middle finger. So that's obviously, a great thing. And Matthew, let's see, Matthew has something for you too. Like Matthew, there it is. Matthew,
He's the biggest shit talker in this whole group.
My finger's bigger.
But Will, I just wanted to just kind of, just send a little something your way, just to say, hey, I love you. I appreciate you being part of the show. I'm glad that I met you. It means a lot, even though East Coast, West Coast, hopefully one day, there's an opportunity, we all can kind of meet up and go to a game or just hang out, and stuff like that. So, but yeah, let's, go ahead and open that up. I was really nervous when it was gone for 10 days. When you've seen other California packages get to you, and I'm not sure.
I got Mama J's in 3 days. I got Bands Farms overnight, and like this thing went from Tahoe to Reno to South Carolina, and then took 4 days to get here. So it's done more traveling than I have this year, which sucks. But oh, nice! I'm happy I have one of these.
Yeah, we actually have our chase now too, so it's hard to get the chase out to you, but
dude.
Yeah.
Nice. You want me to read it?
Yeah, I mean that's fine.
I cherish our friendship and look forward to one day taking a game in with you. I love you like a brother. Thanks for being you. You're rock. Eric, Jacob, Logan, 2 boys and their pops. Likewise, brother.
Suck.
Yeah, I feel like it almost went to Canada or something and had to go through customs, 10 days.
I know it shouldn't have taken that long, and I really don't know why. Because like I sent out packages too, and they legit got there in 2 days as well. So I don't know. I hope you didn't take this out of one of your kids' books and stuff like that. Their binders.
Yeah, they were trying to give that stuff away, but nobody was taking them. So I said, all right, I guess I'll grab one.
I'll take them all day. All day. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in here, bro. Ooh. Got some baseball cards.
Hey, Will, did you get my box of White Lightning yet?
Did you send it?
No, just screwing with you.
I was gonna say, yeah, I got it. I fed it to the dog.
Yeah,
like, that's just mean. That's just mean.
Yeah, if Will does the White Lightning, he's gonna be probably shouting obscenities left and right.
Yeah, it definitely won't be a kids show. That's for damn sure. I like this sticker, buddy. That's a good one.
The Mandalorian.
Yeah. Ooh. Still one of my favorite players.
Can't take nothing away from you.
Still one of my favorite players right here.
Quiet, Matthew.
I got the old jersey. Weird to like this day. Oh, I've never seen this before, buddy. I like that one.
Nice.
Oh, he screwed up. That was supposed to come here.
Well, hey, listen, it made it to South Carolina. It got pretty damn close to you.
That would have been funny if it actually ended up like if it went to Mr. Techbot's house. I mean, something like that where they got a package, they messed up the addresses and just sent something, and all of a sudden he's all, I'm going to keep it. It's Captain America stuff.
If I knew it, I would have intercepted it and kept it.
Oh, okay. I knew about this pop. Ooh, this looks different. This one's pretty cool.
Ooh, that's cool.
Nice.
See, I think the first time I ever saw this is when you showed it on your on one of your lives, man.
Yeah.
I've never seen this one before.
Well, I figured that's I figured, and you said you didn't mind even if you had doubles. You don't mind doubles, So
No, because they come out of box.
That I thought Gamerverse was new.
No, Game Reverse has been around for a little bit.
and we know how they love their Coca-Cola in Boston.
I'm more of a Diet Coke fan. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had to have some New York. Like I said, I had to send you something, New York.
Well, yeah, I appreciate that.
He's doing the dead zone.
I like that one.
Mr. Clemens.
Trader.
Hey, be nice to him, man. Be nice to him.
Hey, does he not call Babe Ruth?
All the Red Sox go to the Yankees to win a championship.
Trader.
Wade Boggs, Babe Ruth.
Trader.
Nice.
I don't know what the hell this thing is, but it's cool.
I got that same exact thing. I have no idea what it is, but
It's just little Marvel figures that they have. Just more ways to make us spend money.
Mm.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, dude, I didn't know you were going to send these.
Now I'm glad with the fact that it traveled around for 10 days that it didn't bust.
Guys, I got a really bad thunderstorm here right now, so if I'm going in and out, I apologize.
How's the weather in Florida?
I already lost power once.
That's okay. Not bad. Right? Not bad. It's not. Well, about 5 o'clock is when we get our daily storm.
Is it hot in Arizona? Is it getting 115 in Arizona?
Well, it's humid right now, but it's I only went outside once today, so it wasn't too bad.
You have a big swamp cooler?
No. Swamp cooler. No. We have air conditioning, so.
I forgot about this, Eric. If I can get it open.
It's 101 here right now.
101, but doesn't 101 sometimes it still feels like 120, right? Or is it? I don't know. Like I remember going to Arizona for spring training. Different times of the year is obviously different for the temperatures, but I know it can. I was thinking about the heat. What type of heat it was, and different temperatures everywhere.
Oh, that's cool. Nice.
You don't have that one, right?
No, I do not.
Okay.
I got a bunch of them, but I don't have this one.
All right.
Yeah, no, I've been getting a lot of these things lately. I'm liking those cards.
Did you pick up the Avengers ones?
Oh yeah, I got those. I got the Back to the Future, Transformers, DC ones, which is kind of weird because I've only seen Flash and Superman. I haven't seen like a Wonder Woman one or Batman and stuff like this. What the hell is this? Holy shit!
Don't show Mr. Tybot.
Chris, close your eyes for a second, buddy. He might have this thing behind him in his.
He probably does. Because he has a lot of those different things.
Yeah, I don't have anything like this. This is. I'm gonna keep you guys in in suspense for a second because I'm looking at it.
I'm gonna hurt you if you don't show it.
I'm sorry. You're going in and out.
Yeah.
I hear you. All right.
That's it. I'm going up to Will's place and raiding his house.
But like, you have a few of these on like your wall, right?
I've got that big one right behind me that my wife got me, the Captain America one. It's kind of the same thing. It's got that silver metallic.
Yeah. Eric, man, this thing is sick, dude. Thank you. Like, thank you for all this stuff, man. You
that
didn't
was
have
one
to
of the
like.
things well, that's what I worried about when the packages started to come up missing. I started worrying about damage, getting thrown around, and so that was one of the items that I was kind of worried about. So.
Yeah, man, like you didn't have to like send all this stuff, man. Like I appreciate it very much. Like, I think of you as like a brother too, man. Like we've grown close in the past, couple months and stuff like that, and I appreciate our friendship tremendously. This thing is amazing. Like this is, and like I'm really disappointed that I couldn't open, like it didn't arrive in time for like the live because I really wanted to open this like that night.
Well, it's like I said, stuff happens. The biggest thing is it arrived and it was in the shape that it was in. So, but yeah, we just like I said, a lot of us easily say we appreciate you a great deal. Everybody I know on this panel has been affected by you one way or the other. I know people in the chat.
Still doesn't look as good as mine.
So, it'd be interesting, what you should do with that desk back there, you should paint it. You should get a red and blue and white Captain America paint, to have it blend in. Or you could do a Batman, Batman shape.
Well, I actually have a nice flag I was going to cover this thing up with. Put my Red Sox flag right here, so everyone just has to look at Red Sox shit besides the hat. I'll say
Hey, calm down with that. You got two people that's going to attack you for that one.
That's what he does.
You have two people that's going to come back on you for that one.
I can't see your face, man, but
I know.
Thank you, so much for all this stuff, dude. I love you, buddy. Like, thank you for all this, man. That was too kind of you. That was like
I said, we wanted to just kind of send something your way.
Matthew, man, that looks familiar.
Wait, hold on. What do you got, Matthew? Let's see. Oh, the Back to the Future. Nice.
I will get me a DeLorean one of these days. I swear to God.
The real thing or that?
The real one. I ever since I saw Back to the Future, I know it's a crap car, but ever since I saw Back to the Future, I've always wanted a DeLorean. I have no idea.
Yeah, what are those costs? Like $10 right now?
Well, no, like there is a company who does make them, like they reproduce them from old stock that they have.
Yeah.
So you can buy one if you really want one. I mean, like
they're expensive though. They're expensive because there's not that many left around.
Yeah, right. And like it's all old new stock too.
Yeah,
like it's all like original parts for like the most part.
Well, we like I said, we just a lot of us on this panel, we've had the opportunity to come in contact with each other some way, somehow. And you could probably connect the dots a great deal, because when you talk more with each other, you'll find out that there's things that you have in common or that you didn't know about a person, but now you do. I didn't know, for example, that Dead Zone was very passionate with hockey, and that, the Kings and I went to high school in Westminster, Orange County, and my friend, introduced us to hockey, with the Kings and stuff too. But just things in general. I mean, you got Captain America, you got Batman, you got comic books. Let's say, hold on, what we got, Matthew? Hold it up again, Matthew.
And that was a good move right there. I saw what you did. Get that Boston crap off the screen.
Oh, Matthew's a little tired. So what?
Hey, tone it down over there, Tori.
All right. So Reds. Okay. All right. So, but like I said, you got that Chicago, Cincinnati, rivalry. You got Boston, New York.
The only rivalry.
East Coast. I had Giants and Dodgers.
The only true rivalry.
But bottom line is, we all enjoy sports. That's what brings us here on Sundays. We're able to hang out, just talk some sports, some shit, and just enjoy the crowd, the fans that are in the stands or the chat, as I might say. So I really appreciate everybody being here and just spending the time. And you guys are taking your day to make it special. So definitely appreciate it. I hope everybody enjoys the rest of their Sunday afternoon, evening, and let's get started for a new week. A lot going on. Next week we'll be able to touch bases on more of the playoffs. NBA, what's going on with hockey. It'll get farther along. Because it does take a stretch. That's the thing about hockey playoffs. A lot of these playoffs can go to 7 games. So it's like, and they gotta what on average do they rest about 2-3 days? So is it like 2 day, like when they're playing a game, do they play? Isn't it like about 2 days they play the next game?
Every other day.
Every other day.
Yeah.
So and that's you got to imagine the brutality of your muscles and everything just going into that. So I did have, unfortunately I can't show it, but I have a hockey puck that has the 100. It's got 100 on it from 1917 to 2017. It's an official game puck signed by Gary Bettman, the commissioner. It's just commemorating the 100 years in the NHL. It's an official puck. So I did have that in the case that I was going to show.
No, you are still wrong, Matthew. Still wrong.
Come on.
You're still wrong.
I don't know.
Yankees and the Sox are the only true rivalry in all of sports.
Well, maybe that's a topic we can have next week to kind of cover on a little bit too at some point.
Whatever you're smoking in Arizona, buddy, send me some.
Hey, Matthew, just tell them both to shut up and ask them what their record is in baseball right now.
What for this this asterisk season? The asterisk season we have going on around here.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
You're gonna make that.
Well, basically, any way you look at it, it's sports. We love sports. That's why we're here.
They need to change the logo and put a bunch of asterisks instead of flags.
Wow.
But thanks again, chat. So LBD says.
Yes, Matthew, I have a lot.
Matthew, you have anything for LBD? But yeah, I appreciate you guys being here, and so we're gonna go ahead and pretty much wind it down. So as we get through, just kind of cap off one more time. So let me see here. Sorry, I have so many things on my brand. I know when you do your show, Mr. Techbot, and you see like the panel and you're adding all your overlays and stuff. Sometimes it's just so.
I don't do as many overlays as you do. I may get into it, but right now we just try to focus on the show because right like I said, right now I don't know how next week's going to go with especially having to do this White Lightning thing, and then the week after that we're going to do another episode of what's in their collection. So I know I've got some good YouTubers going to jump on with us then.
Well, I think you could have some chaos, with that. So we shall see how that turns out. So let's go ahead.
So if you want to come see 4 YouTubers in pain, and just come check us out on Friday.
There we go.
I'll be there.
All right, so here we go.
Why does Batman's look like there's white powder being thrown on the ground?
That's like LeBron James or Michael Jordan throwing the dust up.
Let's see. Let me do this real quick.
That's
all right, and then
probably your best comeback from that one.
And then you have. So he's not here today. Where there he is.
That's actually quite fitting for Matthew.
It's only missing the middle finger. That's all it is.
And it almost, I was trying to look for something similar to that. And so yeah, I definitely wanted to get that in there.
Oh my God! You so should have gone back with the old guy having his logo.
No. Hey, you leave her alone, all right? You leave her alone.
I still think.
How much did you pay Eric for that one?
Right. I still think she was paid to wear that shirt.
There was no payment provided in the making of that video.
Yeah.
All right, and then of course we have. And then, of course, LBD says, if anybody needs an asterisk, it's Boston.
Oh, good. Yeah. Okay. I got nothing.
And so now we have.
What's that?
That I'm staying out of that one.
And one more time. Let me do real quick because it's so fun. That rockin' music.
That was a good graphic, Dead Zone.
That was fun to do for sure. That's my wife's car.
Liar.
You're in the desert. I'm waiting to see some guys with shovels.
Somebody said earlier they saw a body in there.
There's two bodies in there.
It still piqued my interest that he has a skateboard in the back.
What's that?
Look at that drive time.
Good Lord, you travel.
I had
You're
to
like
speed
Wayne,
it up.
you travel forever.
It took way too long, so I had to speed it up a lot.
Someone's going over.
Good Lord, do you live in the middle of the desert?
Oh yeah.
Well, gotta respect the skateboard.
All right. So, like I said, very creative. I love it. Dead Zone, Batman. Really appreciate you guys hanging out and being here today, taking part in the show and discussing hockey, and just helping us out with everything along. So thank you so much for being members of the community, being our friends, family, being on our show today. And, like I said, Matthew always has something to say for Batman. Matthew, you got anything to say for Batman?
I'll do it for you. There it is.
Wait, do you have something? Wait, you have something for Batman?
Yeah, I got a big one for him.
Yeah, I'm gonna make Batman a custom, a Batman where he's all glittery and shiny.
Nice.
I'm gonna make you a vampire Batman.
Don't
Coming.
No, what you need to do is you need to get a batarang and have the middle part of the batarang stick up like a middle finger and use your batarang, as a flipping off. But definitely,
Well, Eric, thank you for letting us join. I appreciate it. I had a blast. Look forward to every Sunday now. It's definitely very fun to have that back and forth about sports, regardless if it's hockey, football, baseball.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is we get to see. I mean, a lot of us, like Mr. Tepot said, when his team's out, he's going to move on to the next sport. But there are some people that will want to continue to watch the whole entire. They're very into hockey and they're going to watch the whole entire thing. But whether it's baseball, football, basketball, however things go through.
We just got to change that to Batman underneath.
Yeah,
put a little black around his eyes. It'll be good to go.
Well, when the movie comes out, we'll all go meet up somewhere and we'll all watch it together, and then just prove everybody wrong.
That might not work. Everybody might be making fun of it.
Yeah.
I guarantee you he sparkles once in that movie.
I was going to say, you notice how dark the trailer is, and that's just because they don't want him to sparkle in the sunlight.
Batman doesn't go out in the sunlight, at least not direct sunlight.
That helmet is ugly, by the way. The new Batman helmet is ugly as sin.
Hey, Ben, how are you? Ben, just saying hi to Ben. That's one of my son's friends. He's in the chat. So, Mr. SWXX Lee. Hey, Ben, how are you? But yeah, guys, I appreciate it. Like I said, every time we come on here Sunday, it's always fun. We never know which way it's going to go. That's Sports Pop Talk. We never know who's going to be on, which way it's going to go, but it's always intended to be a good show. And thank you guys for being here. Chat, we appreciate it. If you guys are watching on the rewind, thank you for watching on the rewind. And always, like I said, be kind, go out and have fun, enjoy, and check these guys out because Mr. Tepbot, he's got something in store for him. So we're looking forward to that. And stay safe. Stay safe with everything that's going on. And once again,
and Eric, thank you for all that you do too, man. You do a lot for the show and everything else. So, thank you for everything you do as well, buddy.
Well, I appreciate it. Like I said, there's a lot of people that I've learned from. I know, like Dead Zone a while back. I asked you to help me with the thumbnails, and the Dead Zone does a lot of great work with that. So I said, I need to start learning. I need to find ways to do stuff. And so, like Dead Zone kind of helped push me in the right direction. And it's fun, whenever you can do a show and you can try to get creative with it, whether it's being able to do intros or being able to do the overlays, it's still a work in process. I'm learning. I'm trying to figure out the good ways to put things on there.
The thing about it is that you're progressing. So we see you. We can kind of see what you're taking the steps up every show. It's getting good, dude. So yeah.
Well, that's what I love is, I like to get the feedback, and that's why it's nice to have you guys on a panel because it's not just one person's insight. Everybody has something to provide to the table. and even like, with Matthew on here, and Batman coming on, and obviously, Tori, with his cards and insight to baseball, everybody has their own passions about their sports. But it's the insight that we can bring it all together. So that's what we love about it. So again,
well, we had to bring Batman on after the back and forth. Him and I had it on the chat last week.
I told you I'd be here. I ain't going nowhere.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of it too. Like Chris, you work hard. You got a lot going on with your kids, your school, but you find the time to come on and say hi and be part of it. So
I may be late, but I showed up.
and that's the beauty of it. We always have the ability to have people come on at any point in time, and it'll continue. We'll get more people. Maybe we'll get LBD on here one time. He's a Yankee fan, right?
Well, then you can leave him off then.
So I know LBD would enjoy probably coming on.
When one Yankee fan is enough to be dealt with.
We got 2 Red Sox fans on here.
So
that's even.
Christina Payne, always a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Red Sox fans. Okay.
But chat. So
that's how it works, Tori. Come on, just live with it.
So let's say goodbye.
You're saying the Yankees are double the Red Sox.
So panel, say goodbye to the chat.
Well,
say goodbye to the chat, panel.
See you guys.
Bye.